acting captain tonight. Fullback is Suafolongo. What a year he's having. Wingers, Sialangi, Tumalatu, Brown and Moses Leo. Centres, Benaya Waitera and Nick Meaney. 5'8", Tyron Wishart. Lock, Trent Liero. Back rowers, Cooper Clark and Oren Keeley. Props, Itoi Kamanu and King. Hooker is Trent Toilau. And Hayden Watson, of course, is the halfback. The bench is McDonald, Hetherington, Blore, Chan, Hitchie and Jai Bowden, who is yet to debut. Our referee here will be Jared Sutton. Our touch officials are John Stone and Drew Altram. And Chris Bucky Butler is in the bunker. Just about set to go here. Crowd still filing in. The pyro has made way. It's just fading off into the night sky here in Melbourne. Melbourne to kick off. Canterbury to have first use. Running north to south, left to right on your ABC Listen app. But Nick Meaney kicks us off here at Amy Park in Melbourne. And it'll bounce down there on the edge for Jacob Carraz. And Jacob Carraz, by the way, 5 tries in his last 5 games against the Melbourne Storm. He also scored, of course, in that statement-making win against the Warriors last week. So can the Bulldogs keep that going here on this Friday evening in Melbourne? Of course, the Storm, as I mentioned, I'm sure you know by now, it's been 20-odd years. Craig Bellamy, their coach. And they're defending this first set of the game here. Played there by Leo Thompson. 30 out from his own line. Left-hand side now for kick-out. Takes a couple of defenders with him. Clark gets him now 40 out centre field. A couple of plays left in this set for Canterbury here with Jamin Salmon. And now he's brought down the Itoi Kamanu tackle. 8 short of the halfway here in that northern half of the ground. Hayward to his right now for Lockie Galvin. Of course, he was the teenage halfback a couple of years ago. Turned 21 recently. It was all about the pressure on Hayden Watson here tonight. But Suafolongo takes the high ball, returns it to 30 out from his own line. Storm go on the attack for the first time tonight.
Yeah, a bit of a positional switch for the Melbourne Storm. Tyron Wishart named in the number 6 jumper. He's actually playing hooker. And Trent Toilau named in the number 9. Seems to be playing in the 5'8" role.
That's what we're wondering there, as Wishart does find the first receiver in Trent Toilau. And now Max King and Jamin Salmon make the tackle there on Itoi Kamanu. 40 outs on the field here for the Storm in their own half, as Wishart dummies here from acting half and driven all the way back in a 3-man tackle. They'll now play at 5 shy of the halfway. Last play in this set. The kick does come from Hayden Watson. His first touch and first kick in NRL footy. Underway, young man. Down towards that 10-metre line here. Here's Rina Karma, who scored a couple of tries last time these sides met. Only playing his second year of regular first-grade footy here. 30 out from their own line here. Matt Burton at left-hand side run. Gains a quick 10 and driven back here now by Oren Keeley. And he will now play at 33 out from that northern line. Hayward across now for Galvin. On to Carraz. On here now for Tawala. He hits the deck now on the Cooper Clark tackle. 40 out, 10 in from the western side. Galvin off to open side left now for Carraz. And Carraz swarmed on by purple jerseys here on the halfway line. And this will be second last play of this set. Galvin off to Preston, who was taken somewhat high. It's the arm did slip there from Benaya Waitera. So 40 out from Melbourne's line. Last play Canterbury. Up goes the kick from Crichton. Called for by Folongo. He goes through the air uncontested. Brings it down 20 out from his own line here. It's no score Melbourne-Canterbury inside the first 2.5 minutes here. NRL Friday on ABC Sport.
I'm excited to see the Bulldogs right edge made up of Carraz and Tuala. Carraz has been spoken about. First state of origin honours this year after a strong start. Didn't eventuate, but he has been in good form for the Bulldogs throughout the season. Melbourne
on the advance here. You're with Ryan Hoffman alongside Ian Cohen, and I'm Brett Sprigg here on NRL Friday on ABC Sport. There's Nick Meaney. Of course, he and Tyron Wishart are Perth-bound next year. Wishart sets up from dummy half, goes right-hand side now on the run from Trent Liero, and he's taken down by Hayward just shy of the halfway. Last play, Melbourne running kick comes from Hayden Watson, just punts it off that preferred right foot down towards the in-goal area. It'll sit up on its point down there for Rina Karma in the in-goal for the Bulldogs. Sends the pass at left-hand side now for Burton. He storms through one tackle, and now the Storm in turn get him as the tackle is made by Oren Keeley on that far eastern side of Amy Park in Melbourne. No score so far. 3.5 minutes played here in the first half after earlier in Wollongong the Dolphins 28 beat the Dragons 22. Dogs here on the attack comes to the fullback Tracy. Tracy takes the tackle of Wishart. 40 out, 20 in from that far side, and this will be second last play here for the Bulldogs. Salmon through hands, Galvin Pass flick wide here now for Tawala. Over halfway, he goes inside down the Cooper Clark tackle. Off the flick pass here to Karaz. On a full 360, back now for Tawala. Clark gets him though, nails him 30 out from that Melbourne line. Last play Canterbury as Hayward goes open side left for the kick from Galvin. Up it goes here, again spins through the air. Falongo launches against Karaz this time, but brings it down. Does well, the fullback. Good play to out from his own line.
Yeah, they're sending an arrow down right on the Bulldogs right edge. You see strong tackle from Max King, but so far Longo has responded to every single kick so far.
Dummy half Trent Toilau goes to his right-hand side here. Storm on the attack at the first penalty of the game. They'll have it 20 out from their own line. So
I tell you what, Spring, I've been really impressed. The Dogs gave away a penalty there, but I've been impressed with their line speed. They've been making metres with their defence. It's only been the kicking game of Hayden Watson getting the ball well inside the Bulldogs 20 that has got the Melbourne Storm out of a bit of trouble.
On report to Max King, so from that tackle in that set. So that is the first penalty and the first report made tonight. 5 minutes played the opening half. Melbourne 0 and the Bulldogs 0. Touchline we go, Ian Cohen.
Yeah, Moses Leo's really feeling that. I reckon his right shoulder as well. I'm not sure if he might get assessed, but certainly on report, it was a real dodgem car bang.
There goes Cooper Clark on the carry here, left-hand side of the Storm. Metre shy of halfway. Plays it down for Wishart. Open side right now, Liero. Back on the inside for Josh King, who is, I'm not being unkind to say, their fourth choice captain tonight. So, of course, no Grant, no Munster, no Hughes. He's an unsung hero in that Storm pack, but he has a bigger responsibility, of course, tonight. Wishart to his right now for Hayden Watson. First carry, he's had a couple of kicks, and he's tackled here by Jamin Salmon. 25 out, 20 in from that eastern side. And here's Liero. Falls here in the Max King tackle. 20 out, centre field Melbourne. Their best set of the game so far. Comes across now for the kick from Toilau. Launching through the air, Moses Leo bats it back, recovers it. Is there a grounding? He falls over in the in goal and he scored the try. Moses Leo. Great work in the air as he was opposed to the edge defensive. The Bulldogs realised he was in the in-goal area, falls under with the appropriate grounding and scores the try. The first of the game, Melbourne 4, Canterbury 0, after 6.5 minutes on ABC Sport. Ryan Hoffman.
The first 3 kicks for the Melbourne Storm came from Hayden Watson. That kick came off Trent Toilau, put it up nicely, a couple of metres out from the try line. Great contest for Moses Leo. We used to see Xavier Coates on that left edge for the Melbourne Storm. He goes up for it, bats it with his arm, hits him on the head, he regathers. Great try there from the Melbourne Storm, their first opportunity inside the Dogs 20.
He was squeezed between Karaz and Tawala through the air there, but did well to sort of bat it back and regain possession. And Tracy tackled him, but there's nothing he could do as Moses Leo did make the grounding and scores what is his 9th try of the year now. Let's head back to the touchline, Ian Cohen.
Yeah, still definitely carrying that shoulder though, and just keep your eyes on Moses Leo, because I reckon he's going to get an assessment.
Looks that way.
Potentially HIA, so he's gone from boiled lollies to chocolates and scored the try, but I think it's come at a cost with that earlier clash with King from the Dogs. So good work from Moses Leo, but I reckon he's off for the moment.
Yeah, at one stage he had 6 tries in 5 games. He actually scored 2 tries last time these sides met back in around 12. But as you say, Coz, I did see the signal there come from the trainer we had HIA.
Yeah, he's gone for a HIA. Alex Chen has gone on the field.
Which one, sorry?
Alex Chen. Joe Chen, sorry. That would be something. Alex Chen's living over there in France to come over and play. He was definitely not an outside back, I'll give you the tip. But Moses Leo, he just hasn't had the games because he was in great form there for the Storm, then got injured. But they're certainly missing him.
See a replay of that. Ooh, the shoulder charge, wasn't it, from Max King? He sort of lays the shoulder into Moses Leo. It wasn't apparent to the naked eye, but on the replay after replay, we're seeing it was shoulder to jaw. And that's why Leo's being assessed. Although he did score the try. Here is Nick Meaney, 17 metres out here, 13 in from the western side to make it 6-0 Melbourne leading the Bulldogs, and he does just that. So 1 from 1, Nick Meaney. Melbourne 6, Canterbury Bankstown 0 here on NRL Friday on ABC Sport after earlier in Wollongong the Dolphins 28 beats George Elroy the Dragons 22. Around the grounds, by the way, in the AFL not yet underway, so I'll ignore that for now. 0467 920 222. Great night. Go the Storms. Think they will miss Jerome cues from Amazing Ali in Appin. Thank you, Amazing Ali. Up the doggies from the 13-year-old 6'1" Southern Queensland giant, Lachlan. Good on you, Lachlan. Des and E just listening to the Dogs get the win, waiting for Lenny to get himself to Wingen. Is that how you say it? Thank you, Luca, for your text. And David Nara simply says Bulldogs to win. Thank you, Dion, for your greeting as always. 0467 920 222. 8 minutes played here. Melbourne 6, Canterbury Bankstown 0. NRL Friday on ABC Sport as Wishart links up with Josh King. And he's tackled in turn by his namesake Max King. Well, Spin Doctors sang about two princes. We've got two kings out there tonight at Amy Park. Played by Cooper Clark. Wishart off open side right now. Liero onto Watson. And now gets the offload coming back his way from Oren Keeley. Watson shows some good pace here, the teenager, on debut and now claimed 7 short of the halfway. Set restart Melbourne. 6-0 lead now. A 6-tackle set inside Canterbury's half. First run there from Utoi Kamanu. He'll play it 40 outs in the field. Wishart off to his left-hand side now for Josh King. Bounce with ease off Haywood. Still going big Josh King. He'll play it now 30 out, 20 in. Wishart to his right now for Watson. Feeds it wide, still here now for Liero. He's spun down there by Thompson, but the pass back to Toilau. Flick pass back here now for Watson. 10 minutes out now, escapes, touches the kick out, runs into the fullback Tracy. Good game though here for the Storm. 5 outs in the field. Wishart to his right-hand side now. Toilau on to Folongo. The fullback puts the kick, batted away here by the winger into the in-goal area and then knocked dead by the Bulldogs. So that will be set restart, and beg your pardon, it will be a line drop out Canterbury Bankstown, who trailed Melbourne 6-0 after 9.5 minutes in this first half. Ryan Hoffman.
The two front rows for the Melbourne Storm creating havoc in the middle of the Bulldogs, just bumping players, often getting quick play of the balls. Hayden Watson came close to the line, then they shifted it to the right. Saw Falongo, I thought he was going to hit the gap with pace, but decided to roll it in. Good work by Redakama kicking it out.
Burton takes a short drop out here. It will just go the required 10. Recovered here by the Storm though, so a full set here. 10 metres out from Canterbury's line here at that northern end of the ground. Wishart feeds on here to Cooper Clark. Clark now claimed 5 out left-hand side of the post. Wishart comes back to the left now for Utoi Kamanu. Catch and dive, but not quite there on the line. Played now back to Wishart. Open side right options now for Liero. Watson split to the fence here with a pass to Falongo. And now Meany explodes through, but he's dragged down late there by Burton. He'll play it just metres away from Canterbury's line. Open side left come the Storm now. Watson, first receiver, on to Wishart. Back on the inside now for Utoi Kamanu. And he gets over that 10-metre line now where Max King and the Army kick-out stop him. 8 metres out right-hand side. Wishart goes to his right now. Kick from Watson, fielded by Crichton. He knocked it on though, Crichton. Didn't take it cleanly. So it will be coming back here. Melbourne scrum feed. 10 metres out from that northern line. They lead 6-0 the home side. 11 gone first half. Touchline we go. Ian Cohen.
Yeah, I reckon Josh King with the C next to his name has certainly been leading in these first 10 minutes, no doubt about that. And it's a category 2 for Moses Leo being assessed.
Okay, thank you, Koza. Shout out to the Dragons fans. Awesome effort, more than my team gives. Well done, Filthy Phil. He's a Tigers man, Filthy Phil. And he's filthy most of the time because of the team he supports. Scrum feed here for the Storm. Centre field 10 metres out. 6-0 is the Storm's lead here in Melbourne. As Wishart runs it from the base. And now Preston and Max King infringe upon him. So offside, in fact. So that was where Preston came out early. Come back here to the scrum and repack it. So plenty of field position and possession for Melbourne here in this first half so far.
I think Melbourne Storm played for that penalty too, for Wishart, because 10 metres out from the line and you've got to play like Stuart far longer. You just give him the ball, wouldn't you? But I think Tyrell Wishart seen they were coming up early and ran straight at Galvin and gave away the penalty.
So Melbourne a spot. No Jerome Hughes, no Cam Munster, no Harry Grant, Jack Howard, Warbrick. They lead 6-0 early doors. Meany, Wishart on it goes here to Falongo when he surrenders here in the Jamin Salmon tackle. Play it 10 metres out, right-hand side of the sticks. Fending it to Kamanu. Strong post contact run almost there. Metres shy of the post. Play it now for Wishart. Off to Liero. Stops. Darts back to the right-hand side. And now he's collected strongly by Max King. He'll play it 5 metres out from that northern end as Wishart. Low pass here off to Toilau. On to Cooper Clark. Dragging him from behind is Lachlan Galvin. And he'll play it now 5 away from that from the Canterbury line. Going from dummy half here. Not quite. Is Joe/Alex Chan, and he's held up in goal. You can hear the call there of Jared's son. Jared Sutton.
The man who played the ball.
So it will be
Helps get him into the
replayed here from that 10-metre line.
Yeah, they're just checking Cooper Clark's role in playing the football. Clark is the man who played the ball. Whether or not he gets in the way of the defenders, I don't think it matters because he doesn't.
You can see this point that Joe Chan's blowing through the legs of Cooper Clark. This is deemed an obstruction and denies the Bulldogs a chance to defend. We have a decision. So that will be Canterbury's penalty then.
Yeah.
At that northern end of the ground in front of the Billy Slater stand. Of course, the man himself is here. This is one of your other former teammates here just sitting in front of us. The great Greg Inglis.
Greg Inglis down here sitting in front of me. He gave me a big wave. I'm glad he sat down because I wouldn't be able to see past him.
12 and a half minutes played here. Melbourne 6, Canterbury 0 here at Amy Park in Melbourne. Down to the touchline, Ian Cohen.
Yeah, pretty good crowd in. I think we're expecting somewhere around 16 to 18,000 tonight. So Storm fans are up and going early with that early try.
13 going first half. Tuala tapped 25 out. And now claim 35 out. And in from the western side of the ground now. Hayward at dummy half. On to Jacob Preston. One of their 3 try scorers last week against the Warriors. 4th came back from his broken arm. 4th came back tonight. Salmon, left-hand side. Crichton links up with former Panther and Viliami Kikau. On halfway, 20 in. It's going to be a set restart now for the Bulldogs. Leo Thompson bounced off Josh King. And their boom recruit this year, who of course had interrupted pre-season and early start of the season, play at 40 out from Melbourne's line. This is Canterbury's best look for a while. They trail 6-0. 13 and a half gone in this first half. NRL Friday on ABC Sport. Hayward dummy half off to Galvin. Centrefield burst now from Max King. Stands in the Cooper Clark and Tyron Wishart tackle. He'll now play it. 27 out from that southern line. Hayward looks open side left. Salmon to Galvin. Probing kick goes through the defensive line. Strong run there from Burton, but the kick from Falongo beats him. And the ball goes dead for a Melbourne line. Dropped out Ryan Hoffman.
Yeah, set play there for the Bulldogs. They know Sua Falongo early tackles likes to be up close to the line, directing these defenders around. Galvin saw that, put the kick in. Burton showing good pace, but Falongo gave himself enough of a head start to boot the ball dead.
Down to the touchline, Ian Cohen.
Yeah, you could see Sua could see what was happening there, but he had to cover the terrain, and he does offer that opportunity when he is so close to the line in the early tackle count.
And now Falongo does send the drop out 20 metres, launching through the air. Great stuff on that far side, Nick Meaney.
Tumala
Brown it was, too, the winger. And now it's with Meaney on the inside run, taken down 25 out, 20 in from the eastern side. Played to Wishart, now off to Oren Keeley, of course, the former Dolphin until only a few weeks ago. Mid-season transfer, scored a try last week, his first try for his new club. And Storm here rumble off field on this next set. 15 minutes gone in the game so far, 6-0 as Wishart off here now to toil out. His kick does come from inside 40. It'll bounce here away from the chase of Connor Tracy, but the fullback does retrieve it now. Only a few steps in from the eastern side. Returns it to the 30-metre line here for the Bulldogs. And they will start their next set from that part of the ground. Here's Rinakama, tackled from behind by Josh King. Play at 30 out, 20 in from that far side. Jacob Carraz trying to step past Cooper Clark. And he won't get through him there. Furban in comes Trent Toilau. Play at 40 out, centre field. Hayward to his right now on this edge for Tuala. Wishart and also Chan tackle him. Play it metre short of halfway. Hayward across now for Jamin Salmon. They peel it right to left now. Galvin to kick out, makes the break. Needs support there, gets it with Crichton. Off for Jamin Salmon, 20 to go. And Jamin Salmon goes the rest of the way to spot the Toilau tackle. That was superb vintage Viliami Kikau with the break for the Bulldogs. And they've got their first points via a Jamin Salmon try. 6-4 kick to come, Ken Rankstown. 16 going first half. NRL Friday on ABC Sport.
Yeah, the previous set, the Bulldogs put Viliami Kikau at the straight of the player on debut and Hayden Watson, and he did a good legs tackle. That time, it was actually Oren Keeley. Kikau stepped off his left foot and got on the inside. I think Oren Keeley was a bit keen to help out his rookie halfback and got across the field, and which will let Viliami Kikau get that arm free. Great hands there by Crichton. Jamin Salmon follow up through. I think we're going to see scores even.
Back to the touchline, Ian Cohen.
Yeah, you can't really knock Oren Keeley for that because he did accelerate at pace to try and protect off his obviously Hayden Watson had just missed him on the way through, but in doing so, kind of took Watson out of the tackle as well. So it opened the door for Kickow, who just marched straight through.
I'll wait for the kick here for Stephen Crichton. He's just clarifying something with referee Jared Sutton. Not exactly sure what. Our man Filthy Phil just clarifies, yes, I am the filthiest of Phils. Go the Magpies in New South Wales Cup. Kelly from Toowoomba wants to know why we can't get free-to-air games on Saturday. That's just been the TV rights deal for a fair while. Although I think the last few rounds there's a Saturday night game usually. That's been the case in the past anyway. But the good news is, Kelly, all the games are covered for you right here on ABC Sport. So anyway, 17 and a half gone here at Amy Park in Melbourne. We'll see the kick from Stephen Crichton. He'll be 19 metres out, about that same distance in from the eastern touchline to level the scores here after the Jamin Salmon try. All right. There is Stephen Crichton. Scored a try last week against the Warriors. Here he is on his first kick tonight, and he raises those flags at the southern end of the ground here at Amy Park. So it's Melbourne 6, Canterbury 6, 18 gone first half. NRL Friday on ABC Sport with me, Brett Sprigg, alongside Ryan Hoffman and Ian Cohen. Thank you, Lachlan, for your continued texts coming in. Kenny says, I listen to you guys at the game. I listen while watching the game, and we'll keep doing it. It's understanding while listening to your call. Thank you, Kenny. John from Hobart says, there are two things you can always rely on when Spriggy's commentating: long games and throwbacks, the 80s and 90s references, the latest being the Spin Doctors. Yeah, I mentioned the two kings, not the two princes, but I think that was their only hit, wasn't it, the Spin Doctors in the 90s?
They had another one. I can't remember what it was called.
Okay.
I know they definitely had two.
Doesn't apply to my rugby league reference here anyway. Here is one of those kings in Max King.
Little Miss Can't Be Wrong.
That's the one, yes. Now, I love 90s music. Here's Carraz over that 10-metre line here for the Bulldogs as we approach the halfway stage of this first half in Melbourne. Comes back to the edge now for Preston. Backs his way into Cooper Clark. And Cooper Clark claimed now 30 out from that northern line. Hayward picks up dummy half. Goes to his right-hand side now as Galvin stands in the tackle of Joe Chan. Collected now. 40 out, 20 in, western side. Hayward comes short side right now. Tracy bursts away the fullback. Gets it back to Salmon. He's away again. Goes left-hand side now. The kick comes in there for Tawara. It's let him down. He shoves the pass back in their field of play. Clark is there first for Melbourne. They'll argue last touch here as far as knock on. But referee Jared Sutton says it'll come back here actually for Melbourne's penalty due to the offside. So the scoreline is 6-all. 19 going first half. That was live wire stuff from the Bulldogs, Hoffy, but they couldn't quite finish it off.
Yeah, certainly just nice little footwork from Tracy just through the middle of the ruck. He came out to the short side, went back to the markers. A marker there for the Melbourne Storm, not filling the space, and they actually got away with it. The kick option wasn't on from Jamin Salmon. If he would have taken the tackle, I reckon the Storm would have been short on their right edge.
So Melbourne fine touch on this western side of the ground here. It's one try apiece, 6 points all the scoreline, and penalty count in the game, by the way, is in fact 2-1 Melbourne's way. Player on report as well, Max King, due to a very high shot, shoulder to the jaw of Moses Leo, who was in fact the game's first try scorer. Wishart dummy half here, 40 out from Canterbury's line. Itoi Kamano shoves it back here now for Liero. Watson, off here it comes Keeley. Then he slips the tackle of Rinakama, comes back to Keeley. Back to the man on debut, Hayden Watson. He runs around Nick Meaney, who's still prone there on the Amy Park turf, and the ball shoved back here. He collected on the bounce by a Melbourne teammate in Tuamulatu Brown. Comes back here now for Oren Keeley. Midway through the set now for the Melbourne Storm, and Keeley is tackled by Leo Thompson. 25 out, 20 in from that far side. Now it will be
last tackle.
penalty Melbourne. He was warning them there, Jared Sutton as well. Canterbury's overzealous defence as Melbourne now bring the footy to within 13 metres of that northern line. He's just going to call them. Yeah, he's going to bring them back here. Referee Jared Sutton. 28 metres out from that northern line, which Canterbury Bankstown are defending. 20 gone, 20 left in this first half. Storm 6, Bulldogs 6. They'll tap quickly here. Can they recover something from this attacking set, the Melbourne Storm, with Keeley? Play at 20 out, 20 in. Wishart waits at dummy half. In fact, he shoves Max King, who is lying in the ruck. So play on here going Melbourne's way. Watson, on it comes here to Folongo. Brought down there in the Tuala tackle. He'll now play at 25 out from that northern line. Dummy half, Manoa Waitere comes across left-hand side, now the right to Liero, and now back on the inside for Josh King. Now it will be second last play Melbourne. 6 points all is the scoreline. And coming away here now for Trent Liero. Play it 7 metres out right-hand side. Wishart off here to the kick of Toilau. They'll chase it now. Folongo might get there first and ground the footy as well just before the dead ball line. Oh, he's quick. He came bursting up to the inside of Anari Tuala, and Folongo scores the try. His 15th of the season, and the Storm go back ahead 10-6. Kick to come, Brian Hoffman.
Yeah, speed kills in the game of rugby league, and Sua has plenty of it. Great little deft little kick there from Trent Toilau, who's had some really good touches playing halfback. I remember seeing him for the Panthers. He would fill in a halfback during Origin time, and he always did a fantastic job. Great try there for the Melbourne Storm. I've got to admit, their attack has been a bit sideways, which you tend to expect with not a familiar halves pairing. But when they play straight and direct, they look a lot more effective. Great work by Trent Toilau. Great work by Sua Folongo.
Back to the touchline, Ian Cohen.
Yeah, he's pretty slippery, Sua. We're running a book on when the headgear actually gets dispensed, and I know he's got it in his hand at the moment, but maybe the second half he'll take it off. Good news for Moses Leo, who's back on the ground after passing that HIA, but I still think there's concerns around his shoulder.
Okay, thank you, Koza. By the way, penalty count 4-1 Melbourne's way, so we're disappointed the Canterbury defence at times in this game so far, which has resulted in a couple of those point-scoring opportunities for the home side. Here is Nick Meaney, who's 20 metres out here and about 13 in from the western side.
It's been a bit of a problem for the Dogs, that discipline.
Yeah.
I know a few games have been on the rock end of some penalty counts.
Here's Nick Meaney, 1 from 1, make it 2 from 2. Melbourne 12, Canterbury 6 here at Amy Park in Melbourne. NRL Friday on ABC Sport. We've got 17:50 left in this first half after earlier in Wollongong, the Dolphins 28 beat the Dragons 22. We've got a 4 out the ball that with Andrew Moore, Luke Lewis and John Gibbs. Tim from Newey is listening along in the shed while cleaning his golf clubs ahead of the weekend. Got you, Tim. Best of luck on the weekend on the links. Ryan and Jody and Mackay, you love to have fun while you call the game. Yeah, sometimes too much fun. Thank you, Ryan and Jody. Thank you, Luca. Thank you, Kenny. And also saw our regular texters in there in Derek and Ann up in Howard. I was going to say Fraser. It's near enough for there. It's been lost here now by Toika Manu. So the Bulldogs forced the error on the kick-off return for the Storm. Ooh, bit of a shove there from Toika Manu on Jamin Salmon. He might get a handshake with Ricky Stewart next week, like Alex 12 did.
Yeah, Toika Manu and Salmon have been going at each other since the opening kick-off, where Galvin got Toika Manu's way, and Toika Manu pushed him over, and Jamin Salmon had a real crack at him. So what do we are? 23 minutes into the second half, and they're still going.
So scrum feed here for the Dogs. An opportunity for them in front of Melbourne's line here. 12-6 in the Storm favour. It's been 60% possession so far for the Melbourne Storm, 85% completion versus 66% completion for the Bulldogs. So that's part of the story of the game as far as giving away penalties and not being so clean in attack either. Galvin will feed the scrum here for the Bulldogs, and they'll shift it across left-hand side. Hayward on to Captain Critter, Stephen Crichton, and he carries that footy within that 10-metre line now at the south end of Amy Park. Good play it now. Set restarts. All full set now on Melbourne's line. Here's Max King with the first carry in that set. He's only 5 away now from that southern goal line. Played to Hayward. Looks here to Galvin. Back on the inside for Preston. Taken by Cooper Clark and also Trent Liero. He's a couple of steps away from that southern line here. Hayward swings it across left-hand side. On to Galvin. Now Salmon to Crichton. Flat ball there for kick out. And getting inside that 10-metre line now, so kick out will play it 5 away, left-hand side of the uprights, and out will be penalty Canterbury. So, again, just a little slow in the ruck here, the Melbourne.
No, I think it's Oren Keeley hit Stephen Crichton as he passed. Yeah. It's been deemed to be late contact. I'm just waiting to see the replay.
Well, it wasn't in the play.
No, it was. Look, it was a bit late for Oren Keeley. It wasn't required.
On reports, referee Jared Suggs.
I don't think he's got too much to worry about there. It wasn't super hard.
So it was just very late there from Oren Keeley on Stephen Crichton. So penalty for the Bulldogs. And they'll tap here with Hayward 10 metres out. On it comes here through Jamin Salmon to Max King. Driven back there by Josh King and Trent Liero all the way back to the 20-metre line. So strong Melbourne defence here. 12-6 the home side lead here at Abbey Park with 15 and a half left in this first half. Played here by the Bulldogs and Leo Thompson. Hayward looks open side left. On to Galvin. At the line on to Max King. King now goes to ground 8 metres shy of that Melbourne Storm line. Hayward left-hand side now. Galvin on to kick out, bursting through, and he is only a metre shy. Play it now with a few left in the set. Hayward looks back to the short side. Crichton tipped on here for Rinakama. There's a tangle of Melbourne defence, and it's bounced off someone's head. It's been coughed up there by Tumalatu Brown. Tipped wide there to Rinakama. And Canterbury's winger finishes off the try in that far southeastern corner to make it 12-10. Kick to come, doggies. 14 and a half left of the break.
Tumalatu Brown had it in his hands. All he had to do was maintain the ball, and he's going 100 metres the opposite direction. Good work there by Crichton. Look, the Bulldogs have showed their game plan. Get Billy Army kick out. Watson as many times as you can close to the try line, and then look to go on the keep going to get Melbourne Storm short. Great work there by Cotton. Far hard, but it very easily could have been a try at the other end.
Down to the touchline, Ian Cohen.
Yeah, he had it. Could have won the 90 or 95, no doubt about that at all. The Bulldogs making the most of the broken play and definitely getting on score. So we could be all even with 14 minutes to go before half time. They'll be pretty happy. The Dogs, rare wins here. I think they've only won once the last 3 this season.
And this will be a very winnable game as well, with no Jerome Hughes, no Cameron Munster, no Harry Grant, no Jack Howarth. I mentioned the roll call of names on that injury list for the Melbourne Storm, whose season's hovering by a thread. Rinakama, who scored 2 tries last time these sides met in round 12, scores a try here. Got kick position here with Stephen Crichton, 24 metres out, right on that Eastern touchline.
I don't think any team really sort of they're dominant. It really has just been the ebbs and flows. I think the teams are still sort of feeling each other out.
Stephen Crichton for one so far tonight. His first time has always been in front. Very spot angle. This is a little tougher here in Melbourne. The home crowd booing him. Crichton. 13 and a half left of the break. Gets under it. Does it have the carry? It does not, and it misses across the face anyway. So 1 from 2 for Stephen Crichton. That means a 2-point lead for the Melbourne Storm. 12-10 over the Bulldogs here. You're with Brett Sprigg alongside Ryan Hoffman and Ian Cohen. NRL Friday on ABC Sport. Listening to the radio via Starlink from Andy and Janelle at Temple Gorge at Kennedy Ranges, WA. I love hearing from people across far-flung, beautiful parts of our country. Around the grounds in the AFL, speaking of WA, Fremantle 3 leads the Western Bulldogs 1 in the first quarter there. And, of course, a massive weekend still awaits us across the NRL and NRLW. So 3 of the men's games tomorrow, of course, the usual Saturday slate, plus Bridget Murphy will be in Wagga Wagga, giving us around the grounds updates from NRLW Magic Round 5 of that season. So can't wait to be hearing all of that in all the usual places across ABC Sport this weekend. Here's Carraz. He backs his way into the tackle of Wishart. Now play at 25 out from that northern line. Leo Thompson, the moving target, takes a few defenders with him. And the big Kiwi will play it now. 40 out, 20 in from that far side to Bailey Hayward. On tackle 3 here for the Bulldogs. Jamin Salmon pressing into the contact there of Oren Keeley. He'll play it now, metre shy of halfway. Comes back to the left-hand side. Early kick comes from Stephen Crichton. Trying to catch Folongo out of position. It bounces down towards that southeastern corner. Picked up by the Melbourne fullback. fullback, and he returns it to his own 10-metre line here. Melbourne leads 12-10 over the Bulldogs with 12 and a half left in this first half on ABC Sport. It's out there with Tuamulatu Brown, whose error resulted in that try to Rinakama a short time ago. Now Nick Meaney on the centre field step, taken down 17 out. Oh, now it's been left behind McDonald. He's pounced on there by kick out. Ball's come loose here, and ref Jared Sutton says, yep, it was lost by the Melbourne Storm. Alec McDonald. So another Canterbury scrum feed here within range, about 20 out from that southern line, Ryan Hoffman.
Yeah, this is a danger period for the Melbourne Storm. This is where they've struggled the last couple of weeks, that 10-15 minute period before half time. That's where the starters go off, like Josh Kings and Stefano Tuikamana's come off, and they just tend to lose their way a bit. Errors certainly don't help. Alec McDonald coming in for his first run, unfortunately dropping the ball.
Earlier in Wollongong, the Dolphins 28 beat the Dragons 22. That means the Dragons have now lost, four of their past 5 losses by 8 points or less. Sort of underlines they'll be competitive in games at least. Here's Burt tackled now, 11 out from that Melbourne Storm line. Hayward at dummy half here for the Bulldogs onto Leo Thompson. He stands in the Liero tackle, now hits the deck as the defence peels off. 8 metres out, right, left-hand side of the post. Hayward back to Galvin here, and now Preston straightens his run toward that southern goal line. He's still 3 metres shy. Still plenty of time here for the Bulldogs in this set. Hayward across now to Galvin, and now Salmon. They shift it back right to left. Crichton finds kick out. Ankle tap there by Hayden Watson. He'll play it 10 metres out from that southern line. They get a set restart here, Canterbury. So a full set now. They trailed 12-10, but a chance to go ahead here with Max King, who's 8 metres out from that Melbourne Storm line, and claimed there by Josh King and Cooper Clark. Hayward across to his right now for Galvin. To Preston. Looks dangerous, but Preston runs into a wall of people defence there. It was a nice tackle down there from Waitero first of all. Played 6 metres out now. Kiraz goes short, on the run himself. Trying to burrow his way there, the winger, in that south-western corner of the ground. And he'll play it 5 shy of Melbourne's line. Dummy half Preston across now for Hayward. Off now for Galvin to Salmon to Leo Thompson. And he was nailed down there by Oren Keeley. Still going Leo Thompson somehow. Inside Melbourne's 10-metre line here. And this will be second last play, Bulldogs. Hayward across now to the right-hand side for Salmon. Dummies and goes himself. He steamrolls a man there in Josh King. And Jamin Salmon scores under the posts. So Jamin Salmon scores the try and does put the Dogs ahead. 14-12, kick to come Canterbury. 9:40 left in this first half, Ryan Hoffman.
Yeah, he just got stuck at his heels there. Josh King just backtracking, and Jamin Salmon running with a bit of pace, throws a dummy, and he just gets over the top of Josh King there. It was purely a momentum thing. One person's going forward, the other one's going backwards, and Jamin Salmon gets himself under the black dot.
Scores his second try tonight with 9 minutes left of the half-time break. Touch on we go, Ian Cohen.
Yeah, Trent Tolau came out of the line there too, looking for an intercept. Got absolutely sold, everything, the steak knives included, and then in the end it was just too strong barging over the top. So Storm are just going to have to watch that they maintain their line and maintain their discipline so that they can operate defensively.
Thanks, mate.
The Dogs ahead for the first time tonight. Jamin Salmon, who only scored, only had the 1 try, which was in round 10 before tonight. Now he scored 2 tries in this game. That puts Stephen Crichton directly in front here at that southern end of Amy Park here in Melbourne.
Yeah, look, I don't think the Melbourne Storm, look, they'll be disappointed they conceded the try, but they know it's an error that got the Bulldogs down there. They take out these silly errors and just keep getting the ball down the other end. They'll give themselves more opportunities and take them away from the Dogs.
Crichton directly in front to make it 16-12. Bulldogs is the scoreline here. You can hear the whistle in the background there. So 8.5 left to the break. Canterbury banks down 16. The Melbourne Storm 12 here. NRL Friday on ABC Sports. 0467 920 222 the SMS. 2 out of 3 here for Crichton. Gear Stewart from Kalinga says, where would you rather be with Spriggy, Hoffy and the Koza? That's where we are. Thank you, Gear Stewart. Morning, boys. Great call as always. Sounding great over here in Rossendale, Lancashire in England. The perfect way to spend a sunny Friday morning up a ladder painting windows. Keep up the good work. Well, we're trying to let you fall off that ladder there, Will. Thank you, Will. Painting there in Lancashire.
Great spot.
Here's the kick from Nick Meaney down to Carraz. Feeds it off to Josh Curran, who's on the field for the first time tonight. So had a couple of changes here, the Bulldogs. In fact, might be their first change with Curran in the action. So Curran does hit up the footy here, and they roll up field on this set. The Bulldogs. Also out there is Harry Hayes. So Josh Curran, Harry Hayes, both out there. Played here by Kickow. Comes across here now for Jamin Salmon. And the man who scored 2 tries so far tonight is claimed there by Oren Keeley. 40 out. Early kick does come from Galvin. Folongo's all over it and takes it about 15 out from his own line, about 5 in from the western side. Explodes away from Tuala. And Carraz still going. Slips the Galvin tackle over halfway Folongo. And he still has the footy here where he runs straight into Jacob Carraz, who now, in fact, was Tracy the fullback, of course. 40 out from that northern line. He goes Watson. He peels away. Kickout runs him down from behind. 25 out here from Canterbury's line. Storm on the attack with play 2. Make it 3 now. They trail 16-12. That's the Bulldogs' lead as McDonald's tackled here by Harry Hayes. Wishart dummy half off to Keeley. Nailed there by Hayward and Kickout. Play it 15 out right-hand side of the post. Wishart off here now for the debutant Watson. On to Toilau, and now it's Farlongo into Lachlan Galvin. We'll play it now. 15 out, last place. Storm, they trail by a 4-point margin. 6:50 left and a half of footy. Little deft kick from Toilau. Knocked backwards down there in the in-goal by Kickow, and then bursting through was Nick Meaney. But Burton did thwart the attempt there and just socked the ball dead. So, I keep saying set restart. Line drop out, Canterbury Bankstown. They lead 16-12. 6.5 left of the break. Touchline we go. Ian Cohen.
Yeah, just keep an eye on the Storm fullback. He got tackled quite heavily by his counterpart after that run, and he was pretty ginger getting up on that one, was Sewer.
He was the last line of defence there, Connor Tracy, and there he already beaten 3 would-be tacklers, Sewer Farlongo. They're going to determine here it was actually a restart and 7 tackles set here now for the Bulldogs. So.
Yeah, I think the bunker overruled that the last touch actually did come off Nick Meaney.
Yeah, so the Bulldogs lead 16-12 here with 6:20 left in this first half. Centre field run here now from Harry Hayes in his 48th NRL game. Had a big stint sort of starting at lock before Jamin Salmon nailed that down, and here is that man, Jamin Salmon, claimed there by McDonald and also Wishart and Clark. 40 outs in the field. Hayward dummy half. Off here to the second rower in Preston, and Preston still going here on a post-contact run after the Lero tackle, now met front on down there by Angus Hinchy. So he's out there for the Storm. They've used Hinchy, Chan, and McDonald also off the bench tonight for the Storm as Craig Bellamy. Here's Burton on that left-hand side. So a quick shift now from the Bulldogs. We're in a Karma dummy half off to Crichton. Puts up a high kick. Called here by Folongo. In fact, going after it now out there is Tumalatu Brown. Not back here. Still the last for the Bulldogs. They shift it left to right. There's Tuala. He shows big pace. Goes to Carraz in the corner. And he beats the Folongo tackle and plants the footy. But no, he's out. There's the flag. He didn't quite get there cleanly. So great work from Folongo, who affected Carraz's foot to go on or over the line. And there'll be no try Bulldogs and remain 16-12. Unless Jared Sutton's he's having a chat here to the Bulldogs. Well, they can't challenge this, can they? No. I don't know why he's there. You can see it. That's great work from Saw Folongo, isn't it?
Yeah, he's been a bit maligned about his defence at the start of the season, Folongo, but at the back end of the year, his defence has been absolutely tremendous. That was great scramble. I think the Dogs were going to challenge it, whether or not there was a bit of a shoulder charge in there. I think it was good to not challenge it, but I don't reckon they would have won it.
No case to answer there. So Storm go back on the attack. 10 metres out from their own line. Little run there from Oren Keeley. Dummy half Wishart finds McDonald. And now he's sprawled on there by Harry Hayes and Jamin Salmon. Play at 25 out here, Melbourne. Wishart dummies the pass here. Almost feeds it off there towards Waitera, who was bursting by it. Waiting at dummy half here is Toilau. They get a set restart here in this yard. It's set the Storm. So with 4:15 left to the break, opportunity here for them to get back at least level here on their own deck at Amy Park in Melbourne. Centre field run here now from Hinchy. Play just inside inside that Canterbury half. As Wishart off to McDonald, and now Keeley is set upon there by Curran and also Crichton. They'll play it 40 out, 20 in from that far side. Dummy half Wishart off to Watson, on to Toylouse in a field. Goes the fend on Haywood. The blue and white jerseys surround him. 40 out, middle of the park here for Melbourne. Wishart finds Folongo, and now Cooper Clark gains half a dozen. He's 30 out. Last play Melbourne. Canterbury leads 16-12. Comes to Toilau. Up goes the high kick. Called for down there by Rinakama. He bursts up through the air and brings it down cleanly here for the Bulldogs. And he'll play out 25 out from his own line.
Yeah, disappointing finish to that set by the Melbourne Storm. There was a good kick there by Trent Toilau, but the Storm players are just standing there watching. Tell you what, the Dogs are doing really well in defence. They're getting up hard, especially on the fringes, and really putting pressure on the young Melbourne Storm inexperienced half combination to try and come up with a play, and they're nullifying a lot of the Melbourne Storm shifts.
The voice of Premiership winner, New South Wales Origin player, Australian Kangaroo, Ryan Hoffman here on ABC Sport. Played Haywood across the right-hand side, now Curran. And tackled there by McDonald, also Clark. Just inside Melbourne territory. Haywood finds Galvin quickly. Cut out ball here now for Tuala. He kicks, and it's taken by Folongo. Storm turn defence into attack quickly. And a fullback is run down there by Connor Tracy.
Got an issue.
And there is an issue here. So 20 out, 20 in is where we'll be getting up and replaying it very soon. But Saul Folongo's in some trouble here, Ian Cohen.
Yeah, it looks like either a left knee or certainly left leg, and he's unable to actually bear weight on it to play the ball. So he's reaching now down towards his ankle.
Oh, that's what the Storm need, Hoffy. More problems for important players. He's very important.
Added to the list.
So here's Manea Waitete as Folongo's assessed preliminary here on field. Lero across to Hayden Watson. Now Oren Keeley breaks one tackle, gets past Curran. Salmon gets him though. 40 out for Canterbury's line here. Storm, second last play. There'll be penalty going their way. That is called hell, actually. Called hell. So it's still the second last here now for the Storm. And then there was a penalty out from that northern line. Toilau across the left-hand side for Cooper Clark. Fed back here now for Toilau. Ball goes end over end and over the dead ball line. In fact, it was kicked there by Galvin. That will be a line drop out Canterbury, but it's found.
Yeah,
Trent Toilau's kick. To see whether we get
looking for an obstruction here. At least 12 Bulldogs, 40 left here in this first half. We'll look at a few of these things in the bunker with Chris Butler.
I don't think they can judge if it goes forward because it's technically a forward pass, wouldn't it?
Yeah. So that was that. Yeah. We'll have to sort of.
But if he's offloading and it catches by a Storm player, he can't call on a forward pass.
Unless it's still there.
He just said he's passing. It's an interesting one. I don't think the call-out was needed. If it touches a Bulldogs player, they can.
So Toilau gets there. Oh, hang on.
Does it touch a Bulldogs player? Backwards. Oh no.
Does Preston get to it? No.
I think he just hits Cole out.
Yeah.
Field ruling that this pass is backwards and he's driven backwards. So the ball's travelling backwards at this point.
I've established that.
Hits the left hand of Trent Lau into the right hand. Indicates any knock on by regaining position here.
So they're checking the kick. Are they checking
that part, mate? They're also checking after the kick whether it's obstructed.
Yep.
Just making sure it doesn't touch the Bulldog hand all the way through.
No, I think we've established that. Why are we looking at this again? We're all the way back.
We could be here all night otherwise.
No, you can't.
Playing on at this point.
There we go. I don't think the kick was needed by Toilau, to be honest.
Kicks from 20 metres out. Held back there by Tracy and Haywood.
Haywood definitely makes a grab with his arms. That could be a
There's a
professional
deliberate
foul.
action from Bailey Haywood after the kick. Stays front on.
I'll talk to you when that process is done, mate.
So it'll be at least Melbourne penalty.
Just looking at the possibility here, professional foul, penalty try.
Oh, that is penalty try. You can't go.
No. It's 3 bodies racing toward the northern end goal.
See this point when the foul occurs, he's in line with any possible Bulldogs chaser.
Just be penalty, wouldn't it?
It has to be. It can't be a
Due to this deliberate action from Bailey Haywood, this is a professional foul.
Wow.
We are ruling out a penalty try due to the presence of the other Bulldogs.
Yes, we aren't
We have a decision.
So they've ruled it out.
Yeah,
So it's a professional foul. So he's going to.
See where the ball bounces.
So
Now, Bailey.
he's going to get called out here and go.
He'll go to the bin.
Bailey.
Let's have a listen. Jared Sutton just letting him know all about it here.
Professional foul.
I think that's a little stiff. There's a long way out.
Yeah, but it has to. It's a professional foul to stop him.
So, minute 40 left here, plus another 8.5 minutes or thereabouts in the second half, in which it'll be 13 on 12 and no Bailey Haywood for the Bulldogs, who lead 16-12.
Yeah, if Haywood went to bump him rather than grab him with his hands, I reckon it would have been all right. But the fact that he reached his arms out to grab Tolau.
So, Melbourne penalty, and by the way, this game so far, penalty count's been 7-2 Melbourne. So they'll finish this half. Bulldogs down a man. Storm have it now. 6 out left-hand side of the post. Wishart open side right now. Toilau onto Liero. Strong run bursting through here is Angus Hinchy. It's only his second game. He debuted back in round 2 against the Dragons way back when, as they take the middle of that Canterbury Bankstown line. Played there by McDonald. Dummy half Wishart onto Toilau. Now Folongo. He goes on the burst as well. Great desperate chase and tackled by Lockie Galvin in that northwestern corner. Set restart Melbourne. So a full set now on Canterbury's line. Minute left in the half of footy. Left to right they come. Wishart the inside ball. Back here now for Liero, and he'll play it. 15 out from that northern end goal area. Called back here by ref Jared Sutton. Wishart to his right hand side now. Hinchy on the burst. Takes on Curran. He'll play it now for Wishart. 5 out right hand side. On to Toilau. Little show and go. Now to Folongo. Wide now for Moses Leo, who goes diving into the corner and scores his second try of the night, which may put the Storm back ahead. At least at 16 all. Kick to come Melbourne with 30 seconds left in the half.
Yeah, they're starting to learn the Melbourne Storm edges. They're getting a bit deeper, allowing the Bulldogs to come up to create that space to go around them. Good work there by Folongo, waiting for Carraz to commit himself, stepped around him easily, then finds Moses Leo with the pass. It was a great finish here by Moses Leo. He had a bit of work to do because Tuala was coming hard, managed to keep his feet in. Try time for Melbourne, where it could be even going into the break.
Out of the touchline, Ian Cohen.
Well, all that bunker deliberation of 4 or 5 minutes and Haywood eventually going off the ground was manna for Suafolongo, because it had just allowed him to get his ankle worked on. They seemed to free it up a little bit, and he was certainly much better, and obviously was the penultimate passer in that one that finally got the try for Moses Leo. So Sua looks like he might be okay now. That 5 minutes, super important.
So we'll see now if Nick Meaney can put the Melbourne Storm ahead after the halftime hooter. He's 23 metres out, but a metre in from the western side. Having kicked 2 from 2 so far tonight. Good of G.I. to pop into the box and say good.
Greggy just come in, shook the hand, and
Larger than life personality.
He is.
You said he was the most talented player you played with.
Most definitely, most definitely. Doing some great things off the field too.
16 points all here as it currently stands in Melbourne. Storm and the Doggies. Nick Meaney to put the home side back ahead here. Angled kick, starts it right, swings back, beautifully nice. It was on target, just came up short.
Yeah.
Somehow. There's a howling breeze coming to that northern end or what, but he's anyway. So it is 16 points all. Meaney 2 from 3 after a first half in which Moses Leo scored 2 tries in the 5th and 39th minutes. Suafolongo scored the other one in the 20th minute for the Melbourne Storm. And Jamin Salmon also bookended the Canterbury scoring with 2 tries in the 15th and 30th minutes. And Ratu Winakama scored in the 24th minute. So 3 tries all. Crichton 2 out of 3 kicking. Nick Meaney 2 out of 3 as well. And Bailey Haywood in the sin bin for a professional foul. His hold there on Trent Toilau just before half-time. The Storm had 53% possession in that first half, 86% completion against the Bulldogs, 78% completion. 5 at line breaks of 2, Canterbury. So they've had more opportunities as well to score. Tackle breaks have been +9 the Storm's way. Penalty count is in fact 6-2 Melbourne, and ruck infringements have been a total of 3 all, with a player on report for either side. It was Max King for his shoulder into Moses Leo early in the game, and then Oren Keeley also on report for some rough conduct in that first half as well. Your thoughts on the opening 40, Ryan Hoffman on ABC?
Yeah, look, I think the scoreline's an accurate depiction on how the game's gone. Neither team has really distanced themselves from the other. Cameron Ciraldo would be really disappointed with the discipline of his team. They really are just keep inviting the Melbourne Storm back into good field position. So that's something they need to work on. For the Melbourne Storm, it's a bit of a makeshift sort of team, but they're making a good account of themselves. They just need to keep completing. Where they're going to get themselves into trouble is if they keep turning the ball over, just letting the Bulldogs have free rein at their own end.
How did you see it from down there on the touchline, Ian Cohen?
Yeah, entertaining without being exhilarating. So it was some blue-collar efforts there. Obviously, they made the most of their chances. And the Bulldogs, really, this is their chance to pounce. With Storm, obviously, depleted of soldiers at this stage. And the Bulldogs have never had a better chance, I reckon, in the last couple of years to be able to get it done here. So that will be the room, or the sheds. That will be what they'll be talking about. Suafalongo does have a rolled ankle. That will be assessed at half-time.
Okay, that would be bad to worse for Craig Willoughby's men if that is to be anything more serious in the second half or beyond. Thank you, Koza. Thank you, Hoffy. Around the grounds in the AFL second quarter in Perth, Fremantle 10 leads the Western Bulldogs 9. That's a very low second quarter scoreline there in the AFL. 0467 920 222. We'll get to some more of these texts here. Tiger Matt says, I fell asleep 20 minutes ago and just woke up. That video review took that long, I didn't miss a thing. A minute of play. Thank you, Tiger. I hate these slow bunker decisions, says Jay from DAP. So a decision can't be made within 20 seconds and it can't be clear and obviously conclusive and should revert to on-field decision. Thank you, Jay. I think that a lot of fans bemoan that.
A shot clock on the bunker.
Pod from Cecil Plains, enjoying the call. Big frost on the Darling Downs recently. Good weather to rug up in front of the fire and listen to the game. And Rowdy Andy says, fearless prediction, Bulldogs by 20. Well, it's 16 points all at the half here. After earlier in Wollongong, the Dolphins 28 beat St George Illawarra, the Dragons 22. We'll get to ABC News very soon. But at the moment, first, let's get an update from the Commonwealth Games studio with our own Zane Bojack.
Spriggy, Australia's won 2 bronze medals on day 8 in both athletics and boxing. We'll start at the SEC Centre where Aussie welterweight Eve Elizabeth Bryson lost to England's Sasha Hickey via unanimous decision in her 65-kilo semi-final. She secured the bronze medal along with Scotland's Caitlin Rainey. Hickey will face Northern Ireland's Casey Rock in the gold medal bout. Australian Jacob Cassar will fight for gold in the men's 65-kilo boxing after a dominant victory over his Lesotho opponent, hard to say, Lesotho, in their semi-final. The 19-year-old Victorian won all 3 rounds on all 5 judges' cards. He awaits the winner of the next semi-final between England and Zambia. Our second bronze came as a result of the rerunning of the women's 1,500-metre T54 final at Scottstown Athletic Stadium. Scottish hometown hero Melanie Woods won gold. She set a new games record, repeating her effort of 2 nights ago when crashes marred the race. Naomi Alphonse from Mauritius and Aussie Eliza Alconnell from the ACT filled the top 3, both of whom were knocked out of contention in that first final. Fellow Aussie Michaela Dingley finished 6th after she had won bronze in the previous race. In the long jump, Wollongong's Delta Abatzovsky recorded a best jump of 6.55 to finish 4th in Group A qualifying. She'll have to wait till Group B finishes to see if she's made the top 12 for tomorrow's final. Our 4x400 metre mixed relays got through to the final after finishing 2nd behind Nigeria in the first heat. It's 13 degrees and sunny, but remember, Nina Kennedy will compete for pole vault gold after 4 a.m. and Lockie Kennedy and Tori Lewis will be running for gold in the men's and women's 200 metre finals after 6 o'clock. The cycling is underway. 3 Aussies qualifying in the women's sprint. They include Molly McGill. She qualified in 10th. Lilia Tatarinov, she rode a personal best. She qualified 12th. Alicia McKay, national champion both the sprint and the Kieran, she went 10.677, good enough to make the top 8. Welsh woman Emma Finucane, just like Dale, qualified fastest with a blistering 10.322 seconds, a new Commonwealth Games record. In the women's individual pursuit, on indoor carpet. Yes, you heard that right. Men's pair Corey Wedlock and Aaron Tees, they defeated their Tongan opponents in a tiebreak. Our para-men's pairs in the B6, B8 section, Damien Delgado and James Reynolds, are into the finals after defeating South Africans Gareth Rees-Gibbs and Jared James. And defending gold medalist in the women's singles, Alan Fife, has won the opening set 11-3. As I look over, she's leading 2-0 in the second set. She's competing against Daphne Arthur-Almond from the Falkland Islands in the women's singles. She needs to win this match if she wants to have any chance to progress. It's NRL Friday on ABC Sport. It's the Storm and the Bulldogs. They're locked at 16-all at halftime. Brett Sprigg and the team back shortly. But first, let's go to the ABC newsroom.
ABC News with Melanie Scott. Hamas has agreed to a plan for its disarmament in Gaza in what US President Donald Trump has called a monumental step towards peace and security. Middle East correspondent Matthew Doran has more.
He's made this announcement on social media, his usual approach to these sort of things, and he has said that Hamas has agreed to the complete disarmament, not only Hamas but all other armed groups in Gaza. He's also saying that as disarmament is completed, Israeli forces will withdraw from territory inside Gaza and the International Stabilization Force will begin its work with a new Palestinian police force. So Donald Trump has also paid tribute in making this announcement to 3 countries, Egypt, Qatar and Turkey, for their role as mediators here.
Gaza medics say several Palestinians have been wounded on an Israeli airstrike hours after the announced deal, which Israel is yet to comment on. Spain's Prime Minister and Interior Minister are travelling to the North African enclave of Ceuta, where almost 50,000 migrants have entered illegally from Morocco in the past 24 hours. Troops are arriving from the mainland to help the struggling local civil guards maintain security, as the BBC's Nick Beak explains.
There has been this big attempt for people to get across, but the question is what happens to them once they're there. You've got the authorities that run this Spanish territory saying that they're overwhelmed, that there are reception centres which were already full up, that if anyone needs medical treatment, that the hospitals will be full, and also they say they're worried about the security side of things.
A former captain of the Matildas says she'd boycott upcoming international tournaments if soccer's governing body sells stakes in its events to corporate investors. FIFA President Gianni Infantino has recently announced a bid to form a commercial subsidiary that would grant private buyers control over competitions, including the World Cup and Club World Cup. The next major tournament that would be impacted is the Women's World Cup in Brazil in 2027. Melbourne City legend and Olympian Melissa Barbeiri says she'd support any efforts to defend the game's integrity.
If it's the right thing to do, then I think I would stand with any player or member federation once all the information comes out. If they decide to boycott, I would stand with them.
A man who won the World Paddleboarding Championship weeks after rescuing a woman bitten by a shark in Sydney says her messages of encouragement spurred him on. Charlie Verco helped save 34-year-old Leah Stewart at Coogee last month after she was mauled by a shark. Earlier this week, he went on to claim the Molokai Tu'auhu Paddleboard World Championships in Hawaii. The 24-year-old volunteer lifeguard says he even came home to some words of appreciation. This is ABC News.
Get ready for a year of Test cricket like you've never heard before.
Hits him hard and high, straight back down the ground for 6.
That's an amazing shot. 12 months, 20 Test matches. New Zealand at home over summer. The 3 most iconic overseas tours. The 150th anniversary Test under lights at the MCG. And it all begins August 13 with Australia versus Bangladesh on ABC Listen. ABC Sports coverage of the 2026 NRL Premiership.
Comes across now with a kick from Toilau. Launching through the air, Moses Leo bats it back, recovers it. Is there a grounding? He falls over in the in goal and he scored the try. Moses Leo. Great work in the air as he was a post but edge defensive. The Bulldogs realised he was in the in-goal area, falls under with the appropriate grounding and scores the try. The first of the game. Play it metre short of halfway. Hayward across now for Jamin Salmon. They peel it right to left now. Galvin to kick out, makes the break. Needs support there, gets it with Crichton. Off for Jamin Salmon, 20 to go. And Jamin Salmon goes the rest of the way to spot the Toilau tackle. Second last play, Bulldogs. Hayward across now to the right-hand side for Salmon. Dummies and goes himself. He steamrolls a man there in Josh King. And Jamin Salmon scores onto the posts. So Jamin Salmon scores the try and does put the Dogs ahead. He'll play it now for Wishart, 5 out right-hand side. On to Toilau. He'll show and go. Now to Falongo. Wide now for Moses Leo, who goes diving into the corner and scores his second try of the night.
Do you love rugby league?
ABC Sports coverage of the NRL Premiership on your radio, ABC Sport Digital Radio,
And ABC Listen.
Scores level on this Friday evening in Melbourne. It is the Melbourne Storm and the Bulldogs, 16 points all here at Amy Park. You're with Brett Sprigg alongside Ryan Hoffman and Ian Cohen. And earlier in Wollongong, the Dolphins 28 beat St George Illawarra 22. And we'll recap all that later on with Andrew Moore, Luke Lewis and John Gibbs. And I'm sure Maury and the team, well, he's with Maddie and MC tomorrow, looking forward to getting the Mudgee for the game tomorrow between, their usual 2 o'clock pre-game show, then the game at 5:30 between the Penrith Panthers and the Canberra Raiders. See if they can get some revenge from last year's miracle in Mudgee, the Panthers. That was a great
I tell you what, they've got a great setup there in Mudgee. I played in the City Country game
Willow Oval.
It was outstanding. It's a great setup out there.
So looking forward to hearing the boys tomorrow. Of course, I mentioned a big weekend coming up with all 6 NRLW games in Wagga Wagga. So Bridget Murphy will be there across the weekend, and of course we'll run the rule over the next 3 games, which of course our Saturday games later on in our post-game wash up here as well in Melbourne. Around the grounds in the AFL, where it's the second quarter in Perth, Fremantle 22 leads the Western Bulldogs 17, and thanks to Zane Bojack for his Commonwealth Games updates as well before ABC News. 16 points all the scoreline here, 0467 920 222. Paul in Newcastle says, we have lots of themed weekends. Can we, having watched Jacob Carraz, can we have a winger stay on your winger weekend? A lot of fans have a gripe about this, but it's not always the winger's fault.
No, a lot of the time, and what wingers get told is make sure they're scoring in the corner. If they've got to score a try, they've got to score a corner. There's no point staying out on your winger if there's 3 unmarked blokes inside you.
Thank you, Paul, for your text all the same. 0467 920 222. Amazing Ali says that was a forward pass. Here's an idea. Let's get AI to make the decisions from bunker and it'll be quicker. I don't know if they might be quicker. I don't know if they'll be correct. That's the thing about AI. It's not always.
They've been talking about forward passes for videos, but it can't be done with angles. They're saying they want to speed up the bunker. They will just slow it down even more.
Correct. 0467 920 222. 16 points all here. My gut instinct tells me, Hoffy, that Canterbury run this game out due to the fact that I mentioned Falongo might have an ankle injury, rolled ankle or something like that. But this Storm team with a debutant halfback and all things going against them might get beaten on the run home. But how do you see the second half going?
Yeah, look, on paper, yes, the Bulldogs should run over the top of them, but the Bulldogs' discipline has been poor. They've proven that if they get down inside the Storm's 20, they can definitely score tries. I think they've got to keep going to Viliami kick-out to keep getting a young Hayden Watson. He's defended unbelievably well in the first half, but football's a long game, and on your debut game, it can get quite fatiguing. Look, for the Melbourne Storm, they're in this game of football up to their eyeballs. When you're bringing in a lot of young players, there's a lot of excitement. So, look, if they keep getting opportunities from what the Bulldogs give them, they're going to give themselves a red-hot crack.
Out come the Bulldogs, and the Storm join them here as well. And the junior leaguers Doing the guard of honour. Players trot back out there as well. The Storm, by the way, won 5 in a row at home here at Amy Park, so they've got a bit of a streak to protect.
Sorry, I just had to laugh there. Suafalonga was the last one to run out in front of all the junior league kids, and they pretty much jumped on his back. They were so excited to see him.
One kid just
one of their own
in goal as well. They just make their way towards the corner. Love it. There we go. So the Bulldogs to kick off here. Storm to have first use in this second half, and of course they still have about 8 minutes or so of the Bailey Hayward sin bin remaining. So it is 13 on 12 and 16 points all the scoreline here as we get the second half underway. Just waiting for the all clear. Referee Jared Sutton says, yep, second half underway here in Melbourne. We are deadlocked at 16 all. Storm to have first use of this second half. McDonald runs the footy here into the awaiting clutches there of Preston and Curran, and now played Wishart across to his open side right. Angus Hinchy, I mentioned, so he scored 3 tries in his last 2 New South Wales Cup games, and interesting bench option used there by Craig Bellamy in the first half.
Yeah, young front row, and he's done quite well his first couple of touches, and in defence been very strong.
Only his second first grade game, and his first since round 2 in Wollongong, incidentally, where of course the earlier game was tonight. Wishart off here now for Toilau. Early kick from behind the 40. It'll bounce here, not the kind bounce for his sake, and goes out for touch 35 metres away from that southern corner post. So 16 points all the scoreline here inside the opening minute of this second half. Let's head back to the touchline. Ian Cohen.
Yeah, you join me as the bell just is right next to me. Craig Bellamy, very happy with the effort, but he said to his young chargers it will take that effort to beat a good team, obviously. For the Bulldogs, it was about playing in the wrong half. They're saying we're playing in the wrong half football, and by the way, the number 1 is pretty dangerous, and watch out for the Storm attacks.
Flat ball finds Tuala here for the Bulldogs. He goes over halfway, and now he's called back there from Ref Jared Sutton to play it. 8 metres inside Melbourne territory. Through hands it comes. Curran now to Hayes, and Hayes collected now 35 out from that northern line. So Salmon off to his right now for Galvin, and Preston on his 4th game back from a broken arm. Star back rower, play at 30 out. Open side left now, Galvin on the second last play. Curran breaks 1 tackle, but persistence came there from Hinchy. Play it now, 25 out from that northern line. Last play, Canterbury, 16 points all. Kick from Stephen Crichton, goes wide for the corner. Up goes Rinakama, but Meany was in best position and brings it down there for the Melbourne Storm. They'll start their next set 10 metres out from their own line.
Yeah, it's very interesting. Seraldo said at halftime the number 1's pretty dangerous. There was a poor kick chase late in that first half where Falonga went straight down through, and the Melbourne Storm scored off the back of it. That's the thing that Bulldogs can't do. They've got to be disciplined with and without the ball.
15 out, 25 out now as they make some metres here by Tede for the Melbourne Storm. There's bounced on top of there, 30 out, 20 in from that far side. Played the dummy half, Wishart. Running start there from Hinchy. Collected by a kick out coming in from the side. Hinchy will now play at 40 out. Last play Melbourne. They come short side right. Watson's kick goes down towards that 20 metre line now where Connor Tracy is positioned. Bulldogs fullback here carries the footy back the 30 metre line, and now he'll play at 35 out from that southern line. Dummy half here, Crichton off to his winger, Rinakama. Good post contact run from him. Watson drags him down eventually. He'll now play at 7 shy of the halfway. He's holding his left arm there, Rinakama, as play rolls on now for Matt Burton. Backs his way there into Trent Liero, and he'll play it either shy of halfway. Through hands, Galvin. Off to Jacob Carraz. Dummies the pass wide. Steps in field now. All over him is Hinchy, and now also Wishart and Clark. He'll play it now, Carraz. 5 inside Melbourne territory. Salmon to Galvin, and now on that far side with Preston, who's collected down there by Toilau. Play at 30 out from Melbourne's line. Canterbury hits, lost by Galvin into the path of Hinchy, and it will be here Melbourne's ball. 35 out with a scrum feed from that northern goal line now. Still 16 points all. No change to our halftime score. There's 4.5 minutes left by the Hayward sit bin.
Yeah, the Melbourne Storm players all came in and gave Angus Hinchy a big pat on the back. He was the one that came out and put pressure on Lachlan Galvin, who had a little blow peep and dropped the ball cold, giving the Melbourne Storm some good field position to start their set.
Lachlan Galvin's now played more games in Canterbury than West Tigers, by the way. So he's turned 21 recently. Meaney. And now it's played by Meaney. Storm on the attack. Wishart, dummies here. Goes himself from dummy half. Straights his run there into Curran. And now Salmon's been tireless in defence as well. And piles him down. 5 inside Canterbury territory. Storm here on tackle 4. Comes open side left. Liero almost through the gap there went Hinchy. But stopped now on that tackle from Galvin. So got his own one back there. 40 out. Toilout kicks on the inside now. It's chased back by Crichton. Shrugs away Folongo. Shares the pass to Rinakama, who's still on the play. He had that arm injury a short time ago. He's okay though. Play at 20 out. 5 in from the western side. Dummy half Crichton. Off now for Burton. Burton brought to ground by Hinchy. Gets some support there from Wishart as well. So 3.5 left of the Bailey Hayward sin bin. Still 16 points all. Bulldogs on the attack on this carry from Jacob Carraz. Surrounded there by Clark and also Toilau. 30 outs in the field. Played here, dummy half as Salmon goes off to the right-hand side for Connor Tracy. And the fullback will play at 5 shy of the halfway. Salmon shares it with Curran. And the pass. Did I say forward? I thought I heard 4 there. Maybe it was a fan. The plate's inside Melbourne territory. Comes here left-hand side now for Crichton. On that left foot, just pounds it downfield now. Through the air to Malatu Brown. It falls back here for Meaney, so it's play on now Melbourne. Folongo swings the pass wide. Off here now for Waitete. On the inside now of Preston. And now he does surrender. 15 out from his own line. It remains Melbourne 16, Canterbury 16. 6 minutes played second half. NRL Friday on ABC Sport. Ryan Hoffman.
Yeah, the first 3 kicks the Melbourne Storm had in the game, they're all done by Hayden Watson. But since then, as we see Cooper Clark make a strong break.
Strong break here. He's dragged down now. 5 shy of the halfway by Galvin. Played to Wishart. They peel across the field now. Toilau to Watson. On now to Keeley. Great leg tackle there from Matt Burton. On halfway. It's been lost by Oren Keeley. Although he hadn't called time back on there, referee Jared Sutton. Stephen Crichton still just standing in the ruck. So back here now for Alec McDonald, and he's collected 40 out from Canterbury's line here. 16 points all, Storm and Bulldogs. Wishart nails the pass left-hand side now for Liero as it goes from Waitete onto Moses Leo. Went behind him, has to go and retrieve it. Still in the field of play. And the touchies just clarifying there with the referee. So saying it was double knock on him then. No, he said tackle.
We were on tackle 4 Melbourne.
There we go.
Shot clock on.
It's going to be a Melbourne Storm ball. So Melbourne Storm knocked it back, and then it was knocked on by the Bulldogs. And then the Storm took possession back. So, look, they got away with one there. It was quick hands there by Fartani, trying to get the ball to Moses Leo, and they've come out of it, instead of losing the ball, they've come out of the full set of 6.
More possession this second half than the first half so far. It's been all Melbourne, but no score as yet. Minute 10 left of Bailey Hayward's sin bin. Centre field scrum here for the home side. 40 out from Canterbury's line. Scrum is fed by Toilau. Comes the right-hand side now for Watson. He darts away from Kikau and Salmon. Taken down there by Harry Hayes, 30 out. And now Wishart explodes from dummy half. Finds him behind Harry Hayes, and he gets it back on the inside for Hinchy, who dives onto the post to score his first career try in just game number 2. And Angus Hinchy flies and scores the try to put the Storm back ahead. 20 points to 16. Kick to come Storm.
Oh, he deserves that, Angus Hinchy. He's been brilliant for the Storm since he's come on. He's the one that put the pressure on, the forced error from Galvin, which gave the Storm the field position to start off these couple of sets that the Melbourne Storm have had. Great work by Tyron Wishart as a quick play, the ball by Hayden Watson, and he just followed. Harry Hayes was getting back on side, showed his pace. Angus Hinchy followed through the middle. The Melbourne Storm about to go 6 ahead.
His only previous first grade game was round 2 against the Dragons. Angus Hinchy scores his first career try in game number 2. Ian Cohen on the touchline.
Absolute celebrations, and when you have a look at the average age that is out there for Melbourne Storm, they have put together a team of teenagers or just above, and they are making things happen. So Angus Hinchy, great result there. Storm still with one more interchange player to be able to be used, so it'll be interesting to see who Craig Bellamy decides is going to be that 4th player.
Is that right? So even with so Joe Chan came on, I think, after the Leo HIA. That's still an interchange. Is that right, Koza? I'm just
according to Todd, he thought he had one more up his sleeve.
Okay, beautiful. Thank you.
So let's wait and see.
Okay, here's Meaney. He'll take his kick from directly in front. 2 out of 3 so far tonight for Nick Meaney, and he'll surely nail this from directly in front, and does. Storm 22, Bulldogs 16 the scoreline here. We've played 9 minutes in this second half. NRL Friday on ABC Sport.
It shows what a big play the Hayward professional foul was, because there's been 12 points scored off the back of him going into the sin bin. 10 points.
So now that sin bin has expired, so it's back to 13 on 13. 0467 920 222. Dubbo Dragon says, evening Spriggy, Ryan, Mooney and Sewer will get the Storm home. Thank you for that, Dubbo Dragon. Great call, as always, boys. What a game this is turning out to be. Don't suppose you can give my dad, Anthony Wolf, a special call. Mad Bulldog Wolf from Bolivia. Am I giving you the wolf, or are you just giving the shout out there? Thank you, Anthony. The Mad Bulldog and Anthony. Anyway, here go the Storm. Bulldogs trail now, so it's 22-16 the Storm's lead. Melbourne on the attack with the set after points. Liero tackled now by Hayward, 20 outside the field. Rolls it back there for Wishart. Looks now for Oren Kill. He's lost the ball in the Hayward tackle. Picked up for the Bulldogs. Kick out to his left now. Here's Burton, Feeder and Akama. And he shoves away one tackle there and does surrender 25 out, and then from the western side. So can the Bulldogs pounce on this Storm error? There's Kurt Mann, who's back in the side after a couple of games missed due to a facial injury. Kurt Mann will play it now, 25 out centre field. Hayward off to his right-hand side now as Galvin to Tracy. Runs that line around Toy Lau, and also Vatete will play it. 15 out in that north-eastern corner of Amy Park. Hayward here, back to Galvin. Now Mann to Crichton. Right to left they shift it, kick out. Steamrolled the tackle there of Hayden Watson. Now we'll play it 10 out, left-hand side of the post. Couple of plays left in this set now as Curran darts back on the inside. Oh no, he's tackled now. Only a few minutes shy of that Melbourne Storm line. Hayward gets it back now, looking for kick out. Intercepted almost there by Meaney. Socked it away here by Burton, who recovers it and scores the try. Well, Matt Burton saw Meaney miss that footy, said thank you very much, socked into the in-goal area. A nice arrow celebration the last day of July, and Matt Burton scores the try. Melbourne 22, Canterbury 20, kick to come Bulldogs, 11 going second half.
That's the second try the Bulldogs have scored. That could very easily have been 6 points at the other end. Nick Meaney tried to pounce on the loose ball, but got an absolute mongrel of a bounce. Great work there by Burton to stay with it, put it on the toe deftly, got the bounce back and scored in the corner. I mentioned the Bulldogs conceding errors that got Melbourne Storm back in the game. Unfortunately, there's an Oren Keeley error there as the Melbourne Storm get out of their own end, which gave the Bulldogs this field position.
He was among the try scorers for the Bulldogs in that qualifying final at this same venue last year, a game in which the Storm won 26-18. And as I said, this is the 50th time these sides have met in rugby league history. 22-20, kick to come Dogs. Touchline we go, Ian Cohen.
Yeah, that was a terrible pass that actually worked really well for the Bulldogs. It went along the carpet and just refused to bounce up to Nick Meaney. So, look, luck's a fortune. Dogs no doubt in it. 22-20. As I said, it's been entertaining without being exhilarating, but it's a good old arm wrestle.
Here's Stephen Crichton. Take his kick 21 metres out here. About a metre in from the western side. 2 out of 3 so far for Canterbury Bankstown's captain. Left-hand side of the field, left foot kick. 12-minute mark of this second half. Comes Crichton. Lays into it now, starts at left, goes right across the face, and no further points there. So Melbourne still leads 22-20. Here with Brett Sprigg alongside Ryan Hoffman and Ian Cohen here, NRL Friday on ABC Sports. Let's keep the scores tight, boys, says one correspondent. Lockie, thank you for your texts. Just saying before, he's 13 years of age and 6'1". So there you go. Keep up the footy, Lockie. You might be getting scattered by somebody at some stage soon.
Falling to basketball.
Yeah, that's right. 12 minutes played, second half so far here. Nick Meaney kicks us back off. And it goes down towards Jacob Carraz at that southern end of Amy Park. Back here now for Harry Hayes. And they drive him back inside that 10-metre line. Great work in there from Toikamanu and Liero. Hayward dummy half off to Carraz. He takes on Wishart on this centre field run. 17 away from that southern line now. Dogs running right to left. It comes here to kick out. And he just goes probing into a wall of purple defence. He'll play at 25 out. Hayward off to his right now for Kurt Mann. Centre field burst now where he takes on Oren Keeley. Play it now, 15 shy of halfway. Here's Lockie Galvin into McDonald and also in there Wishart. Still inside their own half here, the Bulldogs, with Hayward sends the pass left and the kick of Crichton to end the set. Down towards the chest of Suafalongo. 20 out here, Melbourne. Tuamulatu Brown bounced off Curran and Hayward's in there as well. 25 out from that northern line. Storm lead 22-20 here, and we've played 14 minutes in this second half on ABC Sport. It's anyone's game still. On the other wing here with Moses Leo. 2 tries in that first half for Moses Leo. A depleted Melbourne Storm lineup missing Cameron Munster, Harry Grant. No Jerome Hughes tonight and no Jack Howarth. Here's Meaney. Straight his run here into Harry Hayes and also in there Josh Curran. Curran and Meaney will be teammates in Perth next year. With this man, Wishart, left-hand side to Cooper Clark. And Clark now claimed 5 shy of the halfway. Last play, Melbourne, they lead by just 2 points. Running kick comes from Toilau. High crossfield bomb down to the winger, Rinakama. Catch and now a dart here into Nick Meaney and Oren Keeley. 30 out, 10 in from that western side right in front of us, Hoffy. And the Bulldogs continue back on the attack. Crichton finds Burton, who scored the most recent try in the game. And he's claimed now 37 out from his own line at southern end. Crichton dummy half here, off for Tracy. They'll shift it left to right. Galvin to Carraz. He's shoved away Toilau. Inside ball now for Tuwala. He shows explosive pace. Collared though desperately by Fatea did well. 8 shy of the halfway. Bulldogs here, tackle 3. Hayward off to his left-hand side now for Leo Thompson. So he's back in the action and he meets his demise a metre shy of halfway here for Canterbury Bulldogs. It comes now Hayward across the right-hand side to Wala. Toilau gets him again though. 37 out from that northern line as ref Jared Sutton said that tackle was too high.
Yeah.
Penalty Canterbury.
Yeah, bit of a late call there by the judge. Trent Toilau just went a bit high and Tuala made sure he stayed down long enough to get the penalty.
Down to the touchline, Ian Cohen.
Yeah, Big Bopper's back on for the Dogs, and as you said, already Leo Thompson being involved. Also Max King back out there as well, so some real starch going back into the Dogs.
Penalty count 6-3 Melbourne. That was the first penalty of the second half, going the Bulldogs' way. I'll tap here, 25 out from that northern end. The Billy Slater stand end at Amy Park as McDonald plays the tackle in there on Max King. Play at 20 out, 20 in. Hayward off here to Galvin. Inside ball now for Leo Thompson. And presses on this strong centre field run there into Oren Keeley and also Toikamanu. Play it there for Hayward. Looks to his right now for Galvin. Back on the inside now for Max King. And King is wrapped up down there by Trent Liero. And still a couple of plays left in this set now for the Bulldogs. Tracy, catch and run here in front of the post. Knocked away. It's going to be 6 more Canterbury. Down there for the Storm, but it'll result in 6 more Canterbury backs down tackles. Tuala wrestled towards that northeastern corner at Amy Park. Played here to Carraz. A full set out for Melbourne's line. And now Hayward off here now for Galvin. Right down from behind by Liero. He'll play it 8 metres out left-hand side of the post. Hayward comes here now for Kerman. Dummies the pass, steps back on the inside, but covered across. It was far longer, and also Toikamanu. 1 metres out right-hand side here comes from Hayward off to Max King. King now backs his way into Toikamanu. Play it now 5 out right-hand side. Hayward here for the Bulldogs. Off to Crichton. He was on the toe. Good by Hayden Watson. The young half did well. Storm go back on the attack. He's almost dragged all the way back there by Stephen Crichton. And he's going to penalise Stephen Crichton here. Ref Jared Sutton. Or is he not? He's having a word to him.
Stephen, I'll talk to you.
Here we go. Let's have a listen.
I call held and you continue on with it, mate, and that's what creates it. No, you didn't, mate. You continued on.
So penalty Melbourne.
Sewer. They come running in.
They lead 22 points to 20. 17 gone, 23 left in this second half.
Yeah, the Storm boys were quite quick to jump in on there. One a bit of extra sort of movement from Stephen Crichton. Penalty sufficient. There was nothing too much into it, but the bit of work he gave on the ground on the young halfback, Melbourne Storm were quite keen to jump in. Trent Tolau, he's been shown very good with the short kicking game, but his long kicking game hasn't been that great, and has invited the Bulldogs in some good field position. I'd like to see Hayden Watson take more control over their long kicking game.
Penalty count, Melbourne 7, Canterbury 3 here. Storm on the attack as Josh King gets back involved, coming back off the bench, so he'll play it. Minute shy of halfway. The acting captain for the Storm tonight. Liero across to Yatoika Manu. Surrounded there by Canterbury defenders on that halfway line, 20 in from the far side. Wishart, open side right here, midway through this set for the Melbourne Storm. Liero, again tackled there by Thompson and also Galvin. Set restart, Melbourne 40 out from Canterbury's line here. So a full set, they lead by just a 2-point margin. 40 out, 20 in, played there by Keeley. On the outside they go as Wishart finds Watson. And now 25 out here is where Watson will play it for Nick Meaney. Open side left as Meaney's slipped away there by Burton. There's going to be 6 more Melbourne. So another set here as it was interfered with again by the Bulldogs. Knocked away by Matt Burton. Meaney. And now Josh King runs straight into Leo Thompson and Max King. 25 out centre field here for the Storm. 22-20 is their lead. Wishart across now again here. Inside ball. Toilau finds Trent Liero. Goes to ground the Thompson and Hayward tackle. 15 out centre field. Wishart to his left now for Yatoika Manu. Inside that 10-metre line. Flick pass back for Wishart. We'll swing it across left to right now. Toilau feeds Josh King. And he's now 7 metres shy of Canterbury's line in front of the uprights. Played for Wishart. Sends it back left-hand side. Liero onto Watson. He kicks off the outside of the boot. Fielded by Carraz in the in-goal area. Carraz can't get back in the field of play. It'll be line drop out. Canterbury Bankstown. Melbourne lead 22 to the Bulldogs 20. 20 gone, 20 left in this second half. NRL Friday on ABC Sport. Ryan Hoffman.
Yeah, good patience from young Watson there. Just dribbled the ball in, got himself another set. He didn't just do the kick. He then followed up with a strong chase to ensure Carraz, who was a very strong ball runner, did not get out of the end and build that pressure on the Bulldogs.
On the touchline, Ian Cohen.
Yeah, Watson is playing some sort of game, but I tell you what, he's going to wake up with kick out in his nightmares or his dreams, because he's been right in his grill the whole night.
Matt Burton attempts a short line drop out here. It just goes about 15 metres. Backwards here in the Cooper Clark, as you heard there from referee Jared Sutton. So nice aerial work down there. I think it was Tuamulatu Brown. Down here it comes now for Yatoika Manu. And Yatoika Manu has it 10 metres out, left-hand side of the uprights. Play it here for Wishart. They will come back here. Yatoika Manu. 7 metres shy, left-hand side. Wishart across here now for Liero. Left to right, they shift it. Comes through hands to Folongo to Meaney. Flick pass back to Matt Burton. Throws the intercept. And Burton's away for the Bulldogs. Run down eventually. Down there by Oren Keeley and Hayden Watson. Played 30 out from their own line. The Bulldogs on the attack with Rinakama.
I will put money that Matt Burton called that ball from Nick Meaney.
Well, underhanded.
Yeah, he would have called that ball from Meaney for sure.
So, on the 40-metre line here, played by Tracy. Hayward dummy half, shared it with his winger in Carraz. In the bright pink and white boots, Jacob Carraz. And he'll play it just inside Storm territory. Galvin explodes away here. Gains 15, make it 20. And he is 30 out from that northern line here. Last play, Bulldogs who trail by a 2-point margin in Melbourne's favour. Off a step, the kick from Crichton. Rinakama calls for it. So too from Otto Brown. Comes back here now for Burton. Shoves it back here now for Curran, who might have just lost the footy. No, he scored the try. Play the pass from Matt Burton this time, and Josh Curran grounds the ball deep in that northwestern corner, and the Dogs go back ahead. 24-22, kick to come Canterbury. 18 and a half left in the game. Ryan Hoffman on ABC Sport.
I thought Curran lost it, but he had it in the one big mitt. He stuck it out there. Rinakama and Tuamulatu Brown, they've been the challenge, the high ball challenge all game. Rinakama just did enough, tapped it back to Burton, and then great work by Curran. Had to be far Furlongo, beat another 2 and gets the band with a big ball in the left mid of his.
So they score a couple of tries, back-to-back tries, the Dogs. One of them scored by Matt Burton, the other one set up by Matt Burton. As we go back to the touchline, Ian Cohen.
Yeah, that was really efficient football, wasn't it? I mean, Burton, I reckon, did call that ball from Nick Meaney. It was as clean as a whistle pass, and then they took only, I reckon, 40 or 50 seconds, and they're back down the other end. So really efficient football from the Dogs.
So, Bulldogs go back in front. The lead's now changed hands a few times in this game.
That's been a huge set of 6 because the Melbourne Stormers looked like they were going to score for all money down the other end. But Matt Burton getting the intercept, and then they go down and score a try. This game is on.
17:30 left in the game tonight. And every minute counts in the context of Melbourne's season. I'm just having a look here and seeing if it's come off. Renakama into Tuamulatu Brown in that aerial contest.
I think it's come off Tuamulatu Brown. I don't think there's enough
so play on. Yeah. I'm seeing a lot of replays though, so I'm sure the bunker Chris Butler is pouring over this. Does it come off? Ooh. That's the forearm of Renakama.
Yeah.
Might actually touch. Might come off the forearm. I mean,
I can't talk to you now, boys.
All clear. He's just having a chat there, Jared Sutton, to the bunker, I think.
I think he was telling both Stephen Crichton and Josh King to rack off because he's trying to talk to the bunker.
I'm sure he's hearing voices, the Chris Butler variety. But it did look as though there was a left forearm on that ball from Renakama going forward into Tuamulatu Brown. But
first couple of replays, I thought it was all Tuamulatu Brown, but the last couple does see Renakama's arm in there.
His arm overlaps on Tuamulatu Brown. I think the footy comes off Renakama.
But I'm not sure it goes forward off Renakama.
Oh, this might take us forever, based on tonight's bunker work.
Well, the longer it goes on, the more you think it's not going to be a try, isn't it?
Yeah. It's almost the opposite as far as benefit of the doubt. If there's enough evidence to look at it a million times, then we'll overturn it.
Yeah, exactly.
I reckon this is...
Are we going to clock on this? How long have we been waiting?
At least a couple of minutes. Yeah. I reckon it's going for an Nakama. I reckon this is no try. I'm not super confident. No, hang on. Yeah. That's about the 15th replay.
Last broadcast replay.
So that's the last broadcast replay, did he say? I reckon try confirm. So after all that, yeah, there we go. So it must have come backwards. Definitely hit him, I think.
Yeah, I think it did.
Anyway, and there's the chorus of boos from the restless Melbourne crowd here. 17 left in the game. Canterbury leads here by 2 points. Yeah, hang on.
No. I definitely didn't think there was enough in that to overturn.
There's the Dogs fans cheering. That's what I've realised. It's a try will stand. Okay, so Josh Curran's try will stand here. Here's Crichton, who's kicked 2 out of 4 so far tonight. It's a tough angle. He's 22 out, metre in from the western side. Put them up by 4. Crichton, left foot, starts at left, comes back, over the bar, flags are up. So Crichton's got 3 out of 5, and importantly, it's Canterbury 26, Melbourne 22, here on NRL Friday on ABC Sport. Back to the touchline, Ian Cohen.
Well, I'm glad I haven't got the car double parked because the amount of time we have spent in the bunker tonight has been quite extraordinary. I would have thought that once you've watched 1 or 2 of those replays and they're the same angles, surely you just got to make a decision. You got to back the guy on field, don't you?
There's only so much you can tell with those replays. So that's the thing. So you see the same thing again and again and think, well, you start seeing things or you don't.
We weren't getting any more angles. No. We're going to get the finite amount of angles.
Goes to the in-goal area and fielded the last gasp there by Jacob Carraz. Has some work to get back in the field to play though, and Carraz is set up on by the Storm defence deep in that south eastern Corby Park here in Melbourne, where it's Bulldogs 26, Storm 22. 16:50 left in the game with Brett Sprigg, Ryan Hoffman, and Ian Cohen here. NRL Friday Sport ahead of a massive weekend still to come. And now Max King tackled there by namesake Josh. Surprising relation because they're both from the Hunter Sorry, he was born in Maitland, Josh, which is where Max is from.
Max was born in England, though.
Sorry, yeah, that's right. Cocked up here with the Bulldogs into the path with Wishart. So Storm to defence to attack quickly inside Canterbury zone. Some twists and turns left yet on this Friday night in Melbourne. Here it comes now for Joe Chan. So he's back out there. 10 out, 20 in, eastern side. Wishart dummies the pass here, takes on Thompson, stands here in the Thompson and Preston tackle. He'll now play it, 8 away left side of the post. Comes to Liero. On here comes to Watson. It was messy there as Keeley couldn't quite get clean possession. Now he's brought down the Crichton tackle. 10 metres out from Campline, right hand side of the sticks. Dummy half Meany. Off here now as Josh King presses into Leo Thompson and Max King there as well. He's out from Canterbury's line, right dead in front. Wishart to the left-hand side now. Toi Kamano close to the line, not close enough. Last play Melbourne. Play it now for Wishart. Inside right, Liero. Straightens his run there. Flick pass was untied. He might bounce there. It was a touch by Canterbury. They want 6 more, Melbourne. Ref says nothing doing. And it will be changed over here. Canterbury's ball on that 10-metre line. Southern end. It's the Bulldogs 26, the Storm 22. 15 left in the game. Let's head back to the touchline. Ian Cohen.
Yeah, Tomato Brown was absolutely screaming for it on this wing here, but obviously the kick never came, so Trent Liero taking it to ground.
On your Koza. Bulldogs on the attack here. 20 out from their own line. Amy Park in Melbourne. You're with Brett Sprigg alongside Ryan Hoffman and Ian Cohen. Hayward dummy half here. Off to Connor Tracy. On that 30-metre line now. And there gets to the 40. 20 in from the western side. 14, 40 left in the game here. Hayward back off now for Galvin. Runs straight to Liero. Nailed there by Wishart as well. On the halfway, 20 in from that western side. And now there is Max King. So as you said, born in England because his old man was playing footy there, I think. And then throws the offload here. Pounced on by Keeley. Keeley gets it back here for the Storm, so it's turned over again on halfway. Meany off now for Farlongo. Runs it across Galvin and now Preston does surrender here. Meter inside Bulldogs territory. Canterbury lead by 4 points here, 26-22, 14 left in the game. 40 out, 20 in Melbourne in Canterbury's half. Dummy half Toilau off now to Toi Kamano. Gains half a dozen before being stopped by Leo Thompson. And now Wishart at dummy half. Looks left, comes back right though now for the debutant Watson. On to Meany, shoves it back to the young half, Watson. On that 30-metre line now, Toilau off to Farlongo. Offloads, on the bounce there for Vaitere. And he's stopped by Leo Thompson. On last play, Melbourne here, 35 out. Wishart, open side right to the kick from Watson. It goes straight up in the air. They'll call for it now. Through the hands and forward there from Moses Leo. Picked up by Jacob Carraz. And now kick out, shares it with Rinakama. Bulldogs on the attack here. Can he find some gap there? On that wing he does. Shoves away Watson. Going over Rinakama. Towards halfway. Takes on Farlongo and he's stopped there by the fullback. Meter inside Melbourne territory. Dogs still lead by 4. 13 left in the game here. They've got the full set here inside Storm territory. Tracy, a long pass across now for Tuala. Needs some inside support there, won't get it. He's nailed by Joe Chan, 30 out from Melbourne's line. Dogs here, positioned well on play 2. And now Galvin steals a quick dozen as well. He's 20 out, 12 in from the eastern side. Dogs lead by 4 points, 26 post 22. Hayward across now for Carraz. On to Salmon. And now Crichton. On to Tracy. Wrapped up by Nick Meany. And he'll play it there for the Bulldogs. 23 out from that northern line. Hayward from dummy half to his right now for Galvin and now King. That's Max King for the Bulldogs. Stands in the tackle of Toi Kamano. 12 out centre field here. Second last play Canterbury. Kick does come from Galvin and it's taken by Moses Leo. And Moses Leo, does he ground the ball back in the field of play? Ref's saying that he locked on. Wow. So, this is the Bulldogs possession deep in Melbourne territory, Hoffy, and they have a 4-point lead in the Bulldogs.
Yeah, I can see what Moses Leo was trying to do. He's trying to keep the ball in the play, but Melbourne Storm have had a great, have done a great job with their goal line dropouts. So it wouldn't surprise me if they could have just taken them back their goal line dropouts because they got them back. But big defensive set here for the Melbourne Storm.
So here they go. So to the touchline, Ian Cohen.
Yeah, good crowd in the house tonight. 19,243. Storm did have general admission tickets at the rare rate of $10, so the GA section's pretty full.
So well they come here, the Bulldogs. Crichton on to Galvin. Now Kickow in close. Wrapped up, 13 out from that northern goal line now. Going to hang on to a 4-point lead. Hayward on the right-hand side now for Leo Thompson. Wishart collects him. And also down there is Oren Keeley. 5 out in front of the uprights. Hayward to his right-hand side now, Galvin. On to Tracy. Zigzagging run here, but he's also stopped. 5 away from that northern line. Opportunity here for the Dogs midway through this set. Galvin back now for his winger Carraz, and Carraz is corralled by Josh King. Hayward off to Galvin. Salmon on to kick out for the corner now. He's darts infield, in fact, in front of Watson and Meaney. Offloads back here for Crichton, and the captain goes crashing over. So kick out, a late pass out to Crichton. They combine again, and he gives the Dogs some breathing space here. 30-22, kick to come Dogs with 10 minutes left in the game.
Yeah, great work by Billy Harvey, kick out. Dragged in 3 defenders. They thought he was wrapped up. He just forces his arm free, as he's done plenty of times, both for the Penrith Panthers and the Canterbury Bulldogs. Flicks the pass to Crichton, who knew it was coming, and then it was just a matter of Crichton just getting straight through the middle, brushing off McDonald and scoring the try, giving the Bulldogs an 8-point lead with the kick to come.
Down the touchline, Ian Cohen.
Yeah, 3 tries in a row. Alarm bells, genuine alarm bells for Melbourne Storm, and you wonder whether fatigue might be an issue for some of the young bodies that are out there.
Stephen Crichton scores in the 69th minute. So as Koza said, so the Storm gave up, 10 points, scored 10 points on the side of half-time with about the Hayward sin bin, but since then it's been all the Bulldogs pretty much, with tries to Burton, Curran and now Crichton. Will it be enough? 9.5 to go. The Storm have to get going quick. Their season hanging by a thread. As mentioned, they've never finished lower than 10th, apart from in 2010. That was a year that you guys were playing for no points. Missed finals just twice previously, in 2001 and 2002. So that was pre-Craig Bellamy. And we're going to see, I might see Jai Bowd into the game as well here for the Storm. So Crichton's being assessed, sort of being taped up here, I think, by one of the trainers before he takes a kick. He's a little hobbly on that right hand, on that right leg. But Jai Bowd to enter the game here, which he's a young hooker, Sunshine Coast products, and another new face in the Melbourne Storm.
Yeah, a player who definitely didn't think he would make his NRL debut this season, but due to the injuries, he's a sharp young hooker. I was talking to Harry Grant before the game, and he's only played 5 New South Wales Cup games, so he's definitely getting thrown in here. But Craig Bellamy needing points, and it's very sharp out of dummy half, so good chance as a fresh body coming on in and around the ruck.
9 minutes and 12 seconds left. The Storm have 4 games and a bye left after this to salvage something of this season. It's hard to imagine a September campaign with no Melbourne Storm, but it looks that way, certainly. The Dogs, every win counts as far as their top 8 prospects. Here's Crichton, 21 out and about 5 in from the western side. Again, starts out to the left, brings it back, and he misses. So they lead by 8 points, Canterbury, 30-22, with 9 minutes left in this second half. NRL Friday on ABC Sport. Round the grounds in the AFL, third quarter. Fremantle 31, Western Bulldogs 30, and 0467920222. One of our favourite listeners, Blind Mark in Morisset, says, honestly, ABC, I'm sick of the NRL bunker. They should put on a time limit of at least 30 to 60 seconds. If they can't make a decision on a live decision by the referee, by that time we don't need the bunker. A very angry blind man. Thank you, Mark. I always love to hear from you and a lot of our vision impaired listeners as well. So Crichton, by the way, has kicked 3 out of 6. Will that come back to haunt them? Still time here for the Storm as Canterbury go on this set after points. Thompson plays it 10 out from his own line. Hayward off here now for that man in Tuala, who will play it 15 out from his own line. Hayward now looks left on this centre field run from Max King. Takes 3 Storm defenders to stop him. Keeley was the most prominent in there. Played by Max King to Hayward. Floats the ball left now for kick out. He gains a quick 10. 30 out, 20 in, western side. side. Tackle for Canterbury Bankstown is with Tracy, the fullback. He runs there in to Josh King and also Jai Bowden, making his NRL debut off the bench late in this game. Last play, the kick from Galvin. This end of this yardage set goes down towards the 20-metre line. Falongo back now to his winger, Tuamalatu Brown, and he has a quick post-contact gain here as well, but now dragged back by Max King and Jacob Preston. 35 out, 20 in from that eastern side. Waitete recovers the ball here for the Storm. He'll putt on that left edge here for the home side. They trail by an 8-point buffer. 7:50 left in the game. Here's Watson on a zigzag here. He runs into Bailey Haywood. 40 outs in the field. Jai Bowden dummy half. Off here he comes to the left-hand side now to Oren Keeley, the former Dolphin, now metre shy of halfway. Bowden at dummy half here, open side right to Josh King. Tonight's acting captain for Melbourne, and he stands in the salmon tackle, and he'll play it now 40 out from that southern line. Off here to Watson. Up goes the kick, straight up in the air. Tuamalatu Brown and Renakama compete through the air. It was patted back here, picked up by Falongo. It's going to be 6 more Melbourne. 6 more tackles, 40 out from that Canterbury line. There's the break from the fullback. Now he's run down by Preston. Good chase by he and Tuala. Play 25 out for Melbourne. Now it comes across to Joe Chan. He's got some fast footwork here, Chan. He's now 8 minutes out from that Canterbury line here. Bulldogs defence under all kinds of pressure. Bowden dummy half off the Toilau. Little show and go. With your Toikamanu. Kick out just gets him late. On away in front of the uprights. This is Melbourne. Set restart. Full set here on Canterbury's line. Overcome this 8-point deficit. It's with McDonald. He'll play it 5 out right-hand side. Bowden across to the left now. Toilau to Falongo. He does surrender. 10 metres out, 20 in from that far side. 6.5 left in the game here. Bulldogs lead by 8 points. Josh King runs toward the uprights here, taken by Jamin Salmon. 5 out here, Melbourne. Pass comes across for you. Toikamanu with sheer power. Is he held up? Yes. Just against the padding of the upright. Great work from Kickow and Tracy and co. to prevent Toikamanu grounding.
I thought he was in for all money. Toikamanu. It's a nice little pass from Bowden out of dummy half. And you're right, Toikamanu nearly got there.
Play 10 out here. Bowden goes himself from dummy half and he's lost the ball. But it's going to come back here, penalty Melbourne.
Yeah, Jamin Salmon came out to try and get a second marker, but he was too late and was offside.
So, we get repeat ball here, the Storm. McDonald. He takes on the line here, metre shy, wrapped up by Kickow. Roll it back there for Bowden. Open side left. Now Watson, catch and release for Toilau. Off into Joe Chan. Galvin gets in from behind and Preston's in there as well on that 10-metre line. Opportunity for the home side. 5.5 left in the game. Bowden dummy half. Off to King. Oh, it's been knocked. Toilau's made the knock on. Thought it may have gone backwards, but error from Trent Toilau ends the set. And this gives possession back to the Bulldogs. Scrum feed about 10 out from that southern line. Bulldogs lead 30 to Melbourne's 22 with 5 minutes and 10 seconds left. Ian Cohen to the touchline.
Yeah, Josh King banked his way in there and the pass just was never going to get to Tolo. And so while it was hard for the young man, I think King just needed a bit more pepper on the pass, or Tolo needed to be closer to him because it came apart there.
Takes some air out of the game, doesn't it, Hoffy? Because that looks like an opportunity for the Storm with all that repeat ball and the set restart.
There was no need to panic. There was still a lot of time there. They didn't need to force it.
Scrum feed, 13 out from that southern goal line. Now it's with Renakama. Bulldogs back in there. It's almost intercepted there by Tuamalatu Brown, but recovered here by the Bulldogs, and now it comes to Burton, who slides and just surrenders there in the mini tackle. 35 out, metre in from the western side. Renakama coming out of the line there, Josh King, defending like his life depends on it. The Storm's season does depend on it. Bowden's in the ruck there with Renakama. Played 40 out here for the Bulldogs. Haywood off here now for Jamin Salmon. He goes to ground in the Josh King tackle. 7 shy of the halfway. 4 minutes and 10 seconds left in the game. Bulldogs lead by 8 points. Max King penetrates the halfway line. Play it here for Haywood with a couple of tackles left in this set now for the Bulldogs. Preston shoves away the Waitete tackle, and now in there was Toilau and Bowden. Played 35 out now. Haywood goes blindside right the run from Galvin. It was nailed there by Toikamanu, but sort of feel it there at the end, Galvin. So he's still going the young half. and now stopped centre field there by McDonald and co. 20 out centre field. Hayward at this last play, running kick from Crichton. Up in the air it goes. They ice the game here. Kick out, spins through, and is he there? Not quite. Changeover. Metre shy of Melbourne's line, and it remains Canterbury 30, Melbourne 22, 3:27 left in the game, Hoffy.
I can't believe Tuamulatu Brown didn't go up for it. Left Philly out. Kiko's just taken a metre out from the Storm's try line. But here we go. 3.5 minutes to go. Melbourne Storm 5 metres out from their own end. Makeshift team.
They need 2-point scoring sets here, the Melbourne Storm. Here's Oren Keeley. 10 out from that northern line. Play it there for Melbourne. Folongo off to the left-hand side now for Moses Leo. Set upon there by some desperate Bulldogs defence, but Canterbury has the score advantage of 8 points their way. 30 plays 22. Folongo back here again now for Moses Leo. 2 tries in the first half. Ball comes loose, picked up by Preston. Dogs get it back. 20 out, 20 in eastern side. Played to Galvin. 2:45 left. The Bulldogs have done enough, you would think, from here.
Yeah, it's just a miracle pass there. 10-point Moses Leo.
Carraz plays it there for Hayward, off to Max King. And he bounced with ease off, I think, McDonald. Now it's come loose. And referee Jared Sutton saying it will be penalty here going Canterbury's way for a strip. And it remains here, Canterbury 30, Melbourne 22 with 2:25 left in the game. Back to the touchline, Ian Cohen.
Yeah, the air certainly went out of it. With 2.5 minutes to go, the Bulldogs just need to be able to hold on to this ball as Alec McDonald's being assessed, and it'd be an HIA for him. He was low in the tackle and I reckon might have copped a hip right on the top of the box.
So the Bulldogs will climb back up into the top 8 with this win. Of course, most of the round still to play. It's a very tight logjam of teams there fighting for those last spots in the 8. Still with, of course, 5 weeks to go beyond this one. Storm off to Perth next week, so it's never an easy road trip, and they've obviously had a depleted roster the past few weeks anyway. But to celebrate what this means to the Bulldogs, who haven't been all that successful winning games here in Melbourne. Beaten in last year's qualifying final, that ill-fated finals campaign. Played here, 9 out from that northern line. Hayward across now for Crichton. And now Crichton, in fact, dummies and goes himself. It's a captain's try late in the game to put the exclamation point on a classy win. By no means perfect, but the Dogs will go back into the top 8 with Stephen Crichton's second try tonight to make it 34-22. Kick to come, Doggies.
Yeah, it's not a real reflection of how close the game was, the score blowing out of it, but great work by Stephen Crichton. He's had a tremendous captain's knock for the Bulldogs. Look, the Bulldogs put themselves under a lot of pressure, but good teams know how to get themselves out of it, and that's exactly what the Bulldogs have done. Good bit of resilient defence down at the other end of the field on their try line has set them up. They forced a couple of Storm errors. The Bulldogs close out a very strong win down here in Melbourne.
Back-to-back tries for the Canterbury Bankstown skipper in the 69th and 77th minute as well. So 34-22. His kick will come from only a slight angle left-hand side as we go back to the touchline. Ian Cohen.
Yeah, I might have failed maths once or twice at school, but I think the maths now for Melbourne Storm means semi-final football is out of reach. It got into sort of mathematically possible territory a week or two ago, and I think now that might be it for Melbourne Storm.
It is significant, as I said, first time in 16 years, and that was 2010, which was the year the team wasn't playing for competition points, and it is historic because they're used to seeing the Melbourne Storm feature in finals campaigns. Stephen Crichton take his kick here. 17 out, about 20 in from the western side of Amy Park with 47 seconds on the clock to make it 36-22. And Crichton does just that. So for him, He's now 4 out of 7. His conversion rate tonight, and the Bulldogs are out by a 14-point lead. It does big things for them. So it goes, puts them ahead of the win-loss ledger. So 10 wins now, 9 losses. The Dogs are away to the Roosters next week at the SFS. Of course, the 82-point Sydney Roosters we witnessed last night. So big task coming up. If they want to keep the statement wins going after beating the Warriors, another top 4 team last week. Big assignment, big challenge comes next week at the Sydney Football Stadium. But this is mighty from Cameron Ciraldo's man, because it puts them right back in the picture as far as that last couple of spots in the top 8, potentially higher. Short kick-off taken in by Melbourne, picked off by Jacob Preston. 30 seconds left on the clock here. By Joe and Preston will play it. Hayward open side left onto Koala. 20 seconds left here. Certainly thin here in Melbourne. It's a couple of against making the most of it. Lost by the kick out here, 40 out from that Melbourne Storm line. They want that surely with to stick down. Celebrations here for Cameron Ciraldo and the Bulldogs, because this is a joint they've not won too much at recently. This side of the which goes a long way to ensuring semi-final football for the Bulldogs. From a 16-0 half-time scoreline, they gave up 4 for Hayward to 6. In the end, they ran rampant in the second half. 1 tries to Matt Burton, Josh Curran, 2 tries to Stephen Crichton. They'll pack the scrum here for some reason.
I think the referee called time out probably half a second before the siren went.
So there it is, 35. It's been left here. Thoilau across comes now. It's been lost on that edge. And that would be it. And that does put the full stop on this win for Canterbury Sound, but also maybe for the Melbourne season. It's looking less and less likely, to the point of impossible. The Storm 22. As I said, it was the second half in the end, scoring those 4 tries to 1 after the break. The difference in the end for a 14-point win, and another statement victory there for the Bulldogs.
Yeah, it was, and these are confidence-building wins. I don't think the Bulldogs were great tonight. Play football. When you're coming into finals, when you're really trying to build up this team for a late run, you need to sometimes win ugly, and that's what they did. They've had the last 2 very strong against Tigers. Great team building confidence win against the Warriors. And a good scrappy win tonight. The Melbourne Storm were depleted. They were missing a lot of players. You still got to play against 17 blokes Herbal jersey down here in Melbourne, which is no easy task. So good strong win for Cameron Ciraldo's men.
We'll get some reaction from the players on field with Ian Cohen very shortly, and running through everything that happened. Of course, in Wollongong earlier, where the Dolphins 28 beat St George Illawarra 22. So that's all coming your way here on our wrap up here on NRL Friday on ABC Sport. We might even get a chance to hear from the winning captain very, very soon as well. Stephen Crichton, he scored a couple of tries late in the game. He's just having a chat to a couple of mates out there, and hopefully he's having a chat to our mate Ian Cohen very, very shortly. Let's we'll wait there, Koza, so I can see he's going to go and have a chat to somebody else and show his appreciation for the visiting fans here for the Bulldogs. So they were certainly quite loud, Hoffy, those in blue and white here at Amy Park. They were outnumbered, but certainly made plenty of noise.
Yeah, look, as I said, there's been a long time between drinks for victories for the Bulldogs down here in Melbourne, and you've got to celebrate the wins. And they really have done a tremendous job, and really led by Stephen Crichton, who I thought was tremendous tonight.
Down to you, Koza.
Yeah, Max King's been kind enough to join us. The Dogs don't often win at Amy Park, but tonight you certainly got it done. Well done. Congratulations.
Yeah, no, thanks, mate. Yeah, it is always tough playing here, and
you probably look at their team list, and it's sort of a lot less unrecognisable, I guess, to the standard Storm team that they bring out here. But mate, they're a hard team, to beat, and I felt like they showed that tonight. When you come to Melbourne, it's always a tough feat, and I felt like they were a better team out there for large periods out there tonight. So I'm just glad to come away with a win.
Yeah, there was some instrumental mistakes. You made the most of it. Obviously, so did your skipper as well. But talk us through the game plan coming in, because it was a young halves pairing. Obviously, Sewer down back is still young himself. Was the aim to target them and really say, "Hey, welcome to first grade"?
I guess target them by limiting them what they can do, because you see Sewer, the way he moves around the field, he's a special talent. So they definitely were spoken about a lot through the week, but it was more so of I guess limiting their abilities on the field. And as they showed tonight, they're special. There's some special players, at Melbourne, even with some of the quality players that are left out. So mate, as I said, I'm just glad to get the win. Go back, lick the wounds, and sort of look what we can do better. Every week's tough in the NRL, and I think we got Roosters next week, and they're flying. So you just got to keep playing well, and hopefully we can be there in September.
How good semi-final football now looming? Obviously, you push back into the 8 as well. Really important with only a couple of weeks to go.
Yeah, that's right. As I mentioned, it's a week in, week out battle. We're in the 8, but it means nothing, So there's a number of teams looming, and we just want to make sure that we're improving each week, and we want to be a good team for when we make the semis, that we can do something. So I guess just sort of turn our eyes to next week now.
Congratulations on the win.
Thank you, mate. Cheers.
Max King, the victorious King here in Amy Park tonight. Of course, I mentioned Josh King, who of course led the Melbourne Storm tonight, but the win does put the Dogs back in the top 8 for now, which is fantastic for their sake. And we'll see if we can get some more action from Koza down there, potentially from the Melbourne Storm, or we'll see what's doing. But all the Bulldogs players have now gone to sort of mill about with those fans in that far southeastern corner, which is fantastic to see. Storm do look a bit of a forlorn team on their home turf here after what was 5 straight wins here at Amy Park. They've suffered their first defeat in a while, and I think they know the reality is, Hoffy, that this will be the last few weeks of their season. Down to you, Koza.
With Nick Meaney, who's got a nice little shiner on the right side of the eye there. It was a pretty hard game. It certainly was, and obviously there were opportunities came and went for both teams, but disappointing result.
Yeah, it was disappointing. I thought our effort was really good. Just a few moments in our team, and I don't know, credit to them, they're a good side. They always bring that physicality and stuff. I thought we matched it pretty well, probably just not as smart with the ball and as clean with the ball.
The physicality, it was certainly aimed up. Obviously, young halves in there as well. The young guys though did pretty well. I mean, they came and they played first grade footy and did really well.
Yeah, I think so. Hayden there on my right edge, he's probably about 4 foot tall, but he plays like he's 6 foot. He runs the ball really well, and he put his body on the line tonight. So I'm really proud of his effort, and I hope his family's really proud of him.
Nick, obviously the maths now works against Melbourne Storm. It's uncharted territory for the club that you've played for so long.
Yeah, it's a bit of a different spot. Obviously, we've had some success the last couple of seasons. Probably taken its toll a little bit on all the boys. We've got a lot of injuries going on, and probably mentally as well. It's probably drained us a little bit, but we'll keep fighting, trying to put in good performances, and do our fans proud.
Appreciate your time, Nick.
Cheers, mate. Thanks.
Nick Meaney there with our own Ian Cohen. Great stuff, Koza. We might get one more from the Dogs if we can, and certainly hear from the winners one more time here. So in the end, 7 tries to 4, which Jamin Salmon scored 2 tries in that first half. Renee Karma scored also in that first half. In the second half, I mentioned Stephen Kreitz with the last 2 tries of the game. Matt Burton, Josh Curran in amongst those try scorers as well. Moses Leo scored in the 5th and 39th minutes for the Melbourne Storm. Sorfa Longo on the 20th. Angus Hinchy, his first NRL try in the 47th minute as well for the Storm. And just lost Koza. He's down there somewhere.
Just down by the fence.
Raise his clipboard. Great stuff, Koza. We'll see if we can hear from down there very quickly. I think Matt Burton is with you.
Absolutely, Matt Burton is. He was amongst the try scorers as well. Huge win for the club at Amy Park.
Yeah, it's massive. Coming down here isn't an easy feat, but I thought the way we come out in the second half and turned things around is full credit to us. So yeah, we'll go back, look, take our lessons from that and keep going forward.
What was the change between the halves? Because it was a real arm wrestle. It wasn't extravagant, but it was a real arm wrestle.
Yeah, I think they were just dominating us a bit. Sort of in the little parts of the game before we find ball in play and play outside the footage. You can see things starting to change.
The physicality was important, and you certainly brought that in spades.
The fun then. He's their leader of the pack, and he was going after it tonight, but I thought our middles matched it there, and full credit to him.
What does it do for semi-final football? What does it do for the club and gearing up for the final month of home and away?
Yeah, every game's important for us. Not looking too far ahead. Taking our lessons from that game and getting better. Yes, was the biggest takeaway from that game. Couldn't too ahead ourselves. Just work on the little.
Now, just in front of me, but did you call that meeting?
Nah, he threw it to me. Yeah, I had to call it, but yeah.
Well, you were like Storm line, yours.
Yeah, it was one of them things. I mean, right place, right time, and yeah, good capital.
I'll leave you luck.
Cheers.
Last thought, coach. That would have your inside course. It's strange. Say not playing finals this year. Soon. But yeah, look into there's no about the charter for Craig. Melbourne's really has pretty sure ways played semi-finals football. So there's going to be kids around here going to semi-football, be there playing in December and playing deep into the final action. And we look around, teenagers that are unaware of what like so. He's going to be coming in, and then you have Jerome Hughes out there. He's a really name, so it was certainly tactics. Storm, but yes, he's done for the club. He's feeling it. I don't mean that we're feeling it. Storm fans, nearly 20,000 in the house tonight before. They just couldn't get them over the line. Imagine the Bulldogs had a mission. They put it out. They stuck to their structures. They made some really good football. So, and so they're better condition ahead. That's not what you stop. Thanks. One was here. Two, position up even 50%. Completion is also similar. 9% Melbourne, 76% the Dogs, who looked both in the first half at times, the Bulldogs, but they had 9 line breaks of 4 across the game. They had 9 more tackle breaks across the game as well. Penalty count finished up 8-4 Melbourne. Set restarts were 5-3 Melbourne. 3 players on report, they being Oren Keeley and Trent Toilau for the Storm, and Max King was the first of those reports for the Bulldogs. And Bailey Hayward, of course, also sin bin just before half-time, which gave the Storm some points either side of the break. The Bulldogs go into the top 8 now, but Hoffy, I want to explore this with you because the last time the Storm didn't play finals was that year 2010. This was post the salary cap sanction. The team wasn't playing for points. So it wasn't quite the same thing as simply not being good enough not to play finals, which has never, ever happened otherwise under Craig Bellamy.
Yeah, 2002.
2002, which is, of course, the pre-Bellamy era.
Yep.
It's a tough thing to imagine. Guys like Jai Bowden and Hayden Watson were toddlers when the Storm last didn't play finals.
Yeah, well, I just want to 2025 grand final, Broncos versus Storm. Do you think in round 22 in 2026, the following year, you would see a team of Falongo, Tuamulatu Brown, Waiteri, Meaney, Leo, Tolau, Watson, Uturu Kamanu, Wishart, King, Clark, Keeley, Liero, McDonald, Chan, Hinchy, and Jai Bowden as their team?
No.
Well, I think you could have guaranteed there would have been 1, 2, 4 players from the team that was mainstay would be in their team. So, look, they've just literally run out of players, unfortunately, and they've missed players in key positions. They probably thought a couple of players that which they could blood slowly throughout and give them more time and give them more preparation to become better first grade, but they've just had to be thrown in the deep end, unfortunately. I think they're going to be a better team come next year. There's going to be a lot more players who understand what first grade is about, but unfortunately for this team, there's just been too many injuries for them to handle, and it's unusual. Craig doesn't know any other way, and for the club, it's you don't book holidays in September, and you know what I mean, because you always back yourself playing finals. But look, unfortunately for the Storm, it's just the reality of it. And I suppose a disappointing thing, well, not disappointing, but a bit of thing where they go back and think we did still give ourselves a chance, because they were competitive against the Roosters. They lost by 2 against South last week. Yeah, the score blew out a bit in the last 5 minutes tonight, but they're 2 games that they really could have won, and unfortunately just couldn't get themselves over the line, because I literally think they just run out of. Run out of players, and but I think they've recruited well for next year, and the players that have played first grade, I think we've seen improvement in Waiteri, Moses Leo have done really good things. Cooper Clark, his first full season in Ray, how much better is he going to be in year 2? So there is some sunny skies ahead. I feel for the Storm.
Next up, they've got Manly at Perth Oval out west next week. That's the Saturday afternoon game, and then the Bulldogs are away against the Roosters at the Sydney Football Stadium. It's the late game, the same time slot next Friday. So that's what's to come for these two sides next up. Who are your 3 best players tonight, Ryan Hoffman?
I think the 3 points definitely goes to Stephen Crichton. He's been a revelation since he's moved to 5'8". That definitely is his position in the team. I think Matt Burton looks happier out the centre, so he gets my 3 points. Billy Army Kikau, I thought he was defended quite well by young Hayden Watson, as well as what he could on debut. But Billy Army Kikau pretty much set up the dagger in the Melbourne Storm with that neat little offload for Stephen Crichton. And I found one point really hard, but I've got to give it to Jacob Kraz. He was hard to tackle all night. He kept himself very busy. Would have had plenty of tackle breaks, just shrugging players off. And he always gets the Bulldogs sets off to a really good start. So he gets my 1 point.
One more time for me, sorry.
It was Crichton, kick out, and Jacob Kraz.
Okay, Crichton 3, kick out. He was fantastic, wasn't he? Kick out at times tonight. We're seeing him now. He's been back for 2 or 3 weeks now. So first game back.
Yeah, which coincides to the Bulldogs hitting some form.
We'll also recap what happened earlier, of course, with the earlier game in Wollongong. The Dolphins win over the Dragons. But let's get to our man, Zane Bojack, who, of course, loves his footy most of the time and loves all sport, because he's in a Commonwealth Games studio, Zano, and an update from the Com Games in Glasgow.
Yeah, I used to love footy until I saw my side get 82 points put on them last night. So, yeah, it's a bit tough at the moment. But I tell you what, it's pretty tough being an Aussie cyclist. They are having a horror day at the Sir Chris Hoy Velodrome. Sophie Edwards and Felicity Wilson-Haffenden have both been disqualified for the women's individual pursuit. Wilson-Haffenden had qualified for the bronze medal race and had broken the Australian record. Officials say she wore clothing that altered her body shape, with her result written out of those record books, while the official statement attributed to Sophie Edwards says that Edwards used a helmet that had been altered or had an element added or removed. Both have no recourse. In the women's sprint, Molly McGill, Lilia Tatarinoff and Alicia McCaig, they were all ridden out of the quarterfinals. In the men's individual pursuit, James Moriarty won his heat and set a games record. We still have to wait and see whether he will race for a medal. We have got 3 bronze medals today. We've got 130 medals in total at Glasgow. Aussie welterweight Eve Elizabeth Bryson lost her 65-kilo semi-final in the boxing to secure the first bronze of the day. Then after suffering the ignominy of being introduced as an Englishman by the ring announcer, Paul Traynor lost his 80-kilogram semi-final to England's Dmitry Shitu. That's pretty much what Paul was saying he was feeling after the faulty ring announcement, but goes home from his first Commonwealth Games with some hardware. Our third bronze came as a result of the rerunning of the women's 1,500-metre T54 final at Scottstown Athletic Stadium. Scottish hometown hero Melanie Woods, she won gold. She set a new games record. She repeated her effort of 2 nights ago when crashes marred the race. Naomi Alphonse from Mauritius and Aussie Eliza Alt-Canel from the ACT. They filled out the top 3, both of whom were knocked out of contention in the first final. Alt-Canel had to compete an hour later alongside Aussie teammate Amy Fisher. They both qualified for the 400 metres T54 final, season best times. Our women's long jump qualifying's wrapped up and confirmed there's 2 Aussies in Saturday's final. Brooke Bushkill, she's qualified in first place, while Wollongong youngster Delta Amidazovsky is qualified 8th. And our 4x400 metre relay team will run for gold after finishing second behind Nigeria in their heat. Spriggy, as I go back to you, remember, Nina Kennedy will pole vault for gold after 4 a.m. and Lockie Kennedy and Tori Lewis will run for gold in the men's and women's 200 metre finals after 6 Eastern.
Okay, thank you so much, Zane Bojack, and there's just a feast of sport happening there at Glasgow, so thanks for keeping us all across that, Zane Bojack. 0467920222. Francis says Storm were done months ago. Well, they had a mid-season, they won 6 out of 8 games mid-season after losing 7 in a row, so I'm not going to say a team's done until they're especially the Storm. So until a team's mathematically done, I'm not going to say they're ever done, but they are done now. I think it's 8 wins, 12 losses.